Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Am I visible and audible? Good morning, Manpreet, Purva, Roshan, Divyani. Great. Yasin. Good morning, all of you. Thank you, Manpreet. So let some more people join and then I'll start. Vani, happy morning. Yeah, Yasin. What about combined study? Stephen, good morning. Yasin, Yasmin. Okay, so last week we covered Vijayanagara Empire, the kingdom of Vijayanagara, four dynasties which ruled Vijayanagara, the Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, and the Aravidu dynasties. We discussed the sources for the study of Vijayanagara. A number of foreign travelers came visiting Vijayanagara. We have gold coins, silver coins. So numismatics are another source of valid information for the study of Vijayanagara. Inscriptions, they showed a number of stone inscriptions and copper plate inscriptions. So all these together are a valid source of information for the study of Vijayanagara. I told you, we discussed this, the peak of Vijayanagara was only till 1565. In the Battle of Talikota or the Battle of Rakkasa Tangadagi, Vijayanagara was defeated by the four Bahamani sultans out of the five. And Sadashiva Raya, the Vijayanagara king, came running back to the capital along with two brothers of Ramaraya, Tirumala and Venkatadri. So they decamped to Penukonda in the present-day Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh. And there, Sadashiva Raya ruled for a few years. And after his death, Tirumala Raya seized the throne and established the Aravidu dynasty. So the Vijayanagara kingdom, the peak of the Vijayanagara kingdom was only till 1565. It lingered on, however, till about 1648. And finally, it was absorbed into the Nayaka kingdom of Keladi, the Keladi kingdom. So the last Vijayanagara king, Sriranga III, sought shelter under the Shivappa Nayaka of Keladi. So this was the end of Vijayanagara. Then we discussed the Bahamani Sultanate and the five Bahamani kingdoms. So Vijayanagara was established in 1336. In 1347, I told you, we discussed this, Hassan Gangu, one of the officers under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he rebelled against him and established the Bahamani kingdom with Gulbarga as capital. And he called Gulbarga as Asanabad. We discussed some of the kings of this Bahamani Sultanate, Alauddin Bahman Shah, then Tajuddin Firuz Shah or Firuz Shah Bahamani, who defeated Devaraya I and married his daughter. Then Ahmad Shah Wali, who was the disciple of the Sufi saint Gesudaras. So he's called Wali because he was his disciple, and he shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bida. Then, of course, we have Sultan Muhammad Shah, under whom Muhammad Shah III, under whom there was a minister called Mahmud Gawan, who expanded the Bahamani kingdom. But then the Deccani Muslims conspired against Gawan and got him executed. And that sounded the death knell of the Bahamani kingdom, which split up into five states. So, five states, these are the five states: Imad Shahis of Bidar, the Barid Shahis of Bidar, the Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, the Adil Shahis of Bijapur, and the Qutub Shahis of Golconda. Um, I, so I will convey the message. What about others? They're not able to open the PPTs. Divyani says she's not able to open the PPT and the annotated PPT and the normal PPT. Others are also facing the same problem. No PPT, sir. Not yet shared with you. Vijayanagara, PPTs, medieval India PPTs. Oh my God. Okay. I will convey the message to them. Just please check your mail. Just check your mail and confirm. So you just write a mail to me, vijay.kumar @, byju's.com. Please mail whatever are your queries. You just mail me. Whoever has a grievance, mail me. I will forward it to the concerned people and talk to them. Right? So please do that. Mail all small letters, vijay.kumar @byju's.com. So you put a mail, right? So we'll continue here. So we have discussed the 5 Bahmani kingdoms, the emergence of Bidar. So Bidar was conquered by Ahmednagar. Then Bidar was conquered by Gulbarga. Sorry, Bidar was conquered by Bijapur. Then we have Ahmednagar Sultanate, the Nizam Shahs of Ahmednagar. So we looked at it. Shah Jahan conquered Ahmednagar in 1633. We have discussed this. Bijapur was the most powerful among the 5 splinter states. So we looked at some of the important kings of the Adil Shahs of Bijapur. Yusuf Adil Shah was the founder. The greatest was Ibrahim Adil Shah II, and his tomb is at Bijapur, called Ibrahim Rauza. Ibrahim Rauza. Then of course, Muhammad Adil Shah, whose tomb is the Gol Gumbaz, which has the famous Whispering Gallery. And Gol Gumbaz has the second largest dome in the world. So we will discuss all these things. 1686, Aurangzeb conquered Bijapur. And that was the end of the Adil Shah dynasty. Then we have Golconda, the Qutub Shahis of Golconda. We have discussed some of the important Qutub Shahi kings. And ultimately, Tanasha was the last king, and he was defeated by Aurangzeb and he was imprisoned, and he died in Kuldabad, near Aurangabad. So Abul Hasan Tanasha was the last king. Right? Then we came to Eastern Gangas of Mysore. Roshan is saying something. If anyone opens a recorded video, there is a PPT section. There are both PPT annotated and non-annotated. That's what Roshan says. So if anyone opens the recorded video, there is a PPT section with both annotated and non-annotated ones. Oh, thank you, Roshan. Thanks a lot. So please hear up and try that. Try opening that. Then we came to Eastern Gangas of Mysore. Eastern Gangas of Orissa. Unlike the Western Gangas of Talakadu in Mysore district, these are the Eastern Gangas who ruled over Orissa, with Kalinga as their capital. And they built a number of temples, the Lingaraja temple at Bhubaneswar, the Jagannath temple at Puri, built by Anantavarman Chodaganga. So these are the temples, Lingaraja temple and the Jagannath temple, built by Anantavarman Chodaganga. The Sun temple at Konark, built by Narsimadev, which is called Black Pagoda. So Sun temple at Konark, built by the Eastern Gangas of Orissa. Then Shamir dynasty of Kashmir, they ruled from Alauddinpur or Srinagar as their capital. The greatest was Zainul Abidin, who was called Akbar of Kashmir, known for his tolerant attitude. He visited Amarnath cave. He got the jizya abolished, and he repaired a number of temples and built new temples. So therefore, he's called the Akbar of Kashmir. And also we have under him 2 poets, Janaraja and Shrivara. They wrote part 2 of the Rajatarangini. Kalhana had written the Rajatarangini, the history of Kashmir till 12th century. From the 13th to the 16th century, we have part 2 as a sequel to the Rajatarangini. This is called Rajatarangini part 2. This was written by 2 scholars under him, that is Janaraja and Shrivara. Then he constructed an artificial island in the midst of the Ular lake, and he built a mosque and a palace there. That's called Zaina Lanka. We have discussed this last class. Ular lake, and in the midst of it, which he built one artificial island called Zaina Lanka. So whatever is your query, Harika, please mail me. Then then I will forward it to the concerned people and talk to them. Right? So today I'll finish with in medieval India, and then we will start with art and culture. Right? So I'll give you an overview of art and culture once I finish medieval India, and then we will begin with one interesting topic: religious movements, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. So here then we have the Sharki dynasty of Jaunpur. So all these dynasties came into existence. All these kingdoms became independent during the time of the Delhi Sultans, particularly the Tughlaqs. So once Muhammad bin Tughlaq died and the Tughlaq Empire became weak, we have a number of kingdoms which broke up from the Delhi Sultanate and proclaimed themselves independent. So between the Tughlaqs and the establishment of the Mughal Empire, we have a number of kingdoms being established. One was the Sharki dynasty, which ruled from Jaunpur in UP. The founder was Malik Sarwar Sharki. They made Jaunpur their capital. Then he built the Atala Devi Mosque in Jaunpur. This is the Atala Devi Mosque. Therefore, basically, this was a temple of Atala Devi converted into a mosque at Jaunpur. So this was a Hindu temple, a goddess temple converted into a mosque by Malik Sarwar, by Hussain Shah Sharki. Sometime in 1408, this was done. 1408, the Atala Devi Mosque. Then Ilyas Shahis ruled over Bengal. You have founder was Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah. Then we have some important buildings here in Bengal. They had two places. Pandua. Pandua is one place. Pandua and Gaur. These are the two important cities where a number of buildings were built by the Ilyas Shahi kings of Bengal. Generally, they ask you art and culture section. They'll ask you which building is located where, or the architecture of that building, what type of stones were used, or marble is used. That type of questions have come. So here in Bengal, we have two places where we have some important buildings. One is the Adina Masjid with 400 domes. This is supposed to be the largest Islamic building in India. The Adina Masjid at Pandua is supposed to be the largest Islamic building in India. Bigger than the Taj, bigger than the Gol Gumbaz. So it is the largest Islamic building in India. The Adina Masjid at Pandua in Bengal, which has 400 domes. Then we have Gaur. Gaur, we have two buildings, Chota Sona Masjid, Bada Sona Masjid. Alauddin Hussain Shah was the greatest of the dynasty, and he honored Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was a Vaishnavite saint, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hindus of those period considered Chaitanya as an incarnation of Lord Krishna. And under Alauddin Hussain Shah, a number of books were translated into Bengali. For example, Mahabharata was translated by Kasiram into Bengali. Krittivas Ojar translated the Ramayana into Bengali. Maladhar Basu wrote Sri Krishna Vijaya in Bengali. So these are all literary activities during the period of the Ilyas Shahis of Bengal. So this is the Adina Mosque or the Adina Masjid, which has 400 domes. Largest Islamic building in India is this Adina Masjid at Pandua. Then Malwa Sultanate, their capital was Mandu. So they rebelled against the Tughlaqs and became independent, Malwa. And their most popular king was Baz Bahadur, who married this musician called Rupamati. So at Mandu, we have many buildings built by the Malwa Sultans, like the Jama Masjid, the tomb of Hushang Shah, Hindola Mahal, which is a T-shaped palace, Baz Bahadur's palace, etc. So this is the Hindola Mahal or swinging palace. It's called swing palace because of the sloping walls it has. Probably this was an audience chamber for the king. So the king would give audience to the public in this particular Hindola Mahal. It is located at Mandu. It has a uniquely shaped sloping side walls, hence called swing palace or Hindola Mahal. So probably this was an audience chamber. Then of course Jahaz Mahal again at Mandu. Jahaz, as you know, is a ship. So this is shaped like a ship. It is built like in the form of a ship. Jahaz Mahal at Mandu. And of course, the most popular ruler of Malwa was Baz Bahadur, who married Rupmati. He was a devotee of Lord Krishna, I believe. Baz Bahadur. Then we have the Ahoms who ruled over Assam. The word Assam is from the word Ahom. So they ruled from the 13th to the 19th century. They were able to repel the attack of the Delhi Sultans as well as the Mughals. And even the British found it difficult to occupy Assam. So under the Ahoms. So here we have books called Burunjis, which are basically historical sources for the study of the Ahom dynasty. So detailed historical account of Assam is found in these books called Burunjis. The greatest of the Ahom kings was Suhung Mung. So he came under the influence of the Vaishnava saint called Shankara Deva or Shankara Dasa. And Shankara Dasa influenced him so much that Suhung Mung, the Assam king, converted himself to Vaishnavism. And he took a new name, Swarga Narayana. So Suhung Mung becomes Swarga Narayana. under the influence of Shankaradeva, right? So then we have the Gujarat Sultanate. The Muzaffarid dynasty. The Muzaffarid dynasty ruled Gujarat. Founder was Zafar Khan. Again, this Gujarat Sultanate was founded during the time of Firuz Shah Tughlaq. So factual information, we can quickly go through this. So the founder was, of course, Zafar Khan, who established the Muzaffarid dynasty or the Ahmedabad dynasty. Ahmad Shah built the city of Ahmedabad. In 1411, he built the city of Ahmedabad and the Teen Darwaza, the triple gateway. This is the triple gateway at Ahmedabad, the Teen Darwaza, built by Ahmad Shah, who also founded the city of Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Then Mahmud Shah Begara, he was the greatest of the Gujarat sultans. He founded cities like Girnar, Champaner, and he, in a scuffle, was killed in the sea by the Portuguese. So he had a scuffle with the Portuguese. He was known for his voracious appetite, this Mahmud Shah Begara. And his court poet Udaya Raja wrote a biography of his called Raja Vinoda. So Mahmud Shah Begara. Then the Faruqi dynasty ruled Khandesh in Madhya Pradesh, Khandesh. And later you have Prince Danial, one of the sons of Akbar, conquering Khandesh. And Akbar renamed Khandesh as Dandesh after Prince Danial, who was responsible for conquering Khandesh. So they ruled from Burhanpur and Asirgarh as their capital, the Faruqi dynasty, which ruled Khandesh in Madhya Pradesh. Then we have the Kachwaha dynasty, which ruled Amer. Amer is the old name of Jaipur. Now it's called Jaipur. So we have seen this. Raja Baramal Kachwaha gave his daughter Harkabai in marriage to Akbar. This was the first princess, Rajput princess married by Akbar. And she was given a new name after her marriage, Mariam Uz Zamani. She became the mother to Salim, the next emperor, or Jahangir. Then we have the son of Baramal Kachwaha, Raja Bhagwan Das. Bhagwan Das's son, Ram Singh. All these people served the Mughal administration, Mughal government, even Raja Jai Singh, who fought against Shivaji. So they were all rulers of Jaipur or Amer. Now we have this king called Jai Singh II or Savai Jai Singh, 18th century ruler. He was an astronomer and he built 5 observatories. The one at Jaipur is called Jantar Mantar. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So what are the places where he built observatories? Delhi, Jaipur, Varanasi, Ujjain, and of course, Mathura. These are the 5 places where he built observatories. And one at the one at Jaipur is called Jantar Mantar, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This was built by Savai Jai Singh of Jaipur or Jai Singh II. This is the Amer Fort, Jaipur Fort. Then Rathors ruled Marwar with Jodhpur. The Jodhpur was their capital. They also had matrimonial relations with the Mughals. Jodhabai, Akbar is supposed to have married Jodhabai also. So Jodhabai was a princess of Jodhpur, Marwar, and Jagat Gosain, another princess, was married by Jahangir. Jahangir's favorite queen was, of course, Noor Jahan, but he also married Jagat Gosain. Jagat Gosain, who became the mother to Khurram, Shah Jahan, Khurram. So Jagat Gosain's son was Khurram, who later became Shah Jahan. Right? Are you there with me? So factual information, all of you. So that's why I'm quickly running through this. This will end medieval India. We'll discuss the questions from this chapter, and then we'll go to art and culture. So factual information. So that what is most important, I have covered in the PPTs. That should be enough, right? So they will come back to the Sisodias of Mewar, the bravest of the Rajputs, the Sisodias. They persistently, doggedly fought against the Mughals. So we have Rana Kumbhakarna, Rana Kumbha. He defeated the combined armies of Malwa and Gujarat, and he installed one Jayastamba, the victory pillar at Chittorgarh. This is the Jayastamba which he constructed to commemorate, to celebrate his victory over the combined armies of Malwa and Gujarat. So he defeated the sultans of Malwa and Gujarat together and built a Jayastamba. He's supposed to have built many forts, and the biggest fort in India is the Kumbhalgarh Fort in Rajasthan. It has a wall of 38 kilometers. This is the second longest wall in the world after the Great Wall of China. So this is the Kumbhalgarh Fort built by Rana Kumbha. So he built about 32 forts, renovated and repaired them also, totally 32 forts. And the Kumbhalgarh fort has the second longest wall in the world of 38 kilometers. So it's a huge wall next to that of the Great Wall of China. This is Sodias. Then, of course, we have Rana Sangram Singh. We have discussed this. He fought against Babur, but he was grievously wounded in the Battle of Kanua, and he died after some time. So he lost the Battle of Kanua. Rana Pratap fought against Akbar in the Battle of Haldigati. Man Singh, Akbar's commander, fought against Rana Pratap, and Rana Pratap was defeated. Then Rana Amar Singh. So here, after Rana Pratap, I told you, from 1585 onwards, Akbar did not send any campaigns against Rana Pratap. But then the Mughal Sisodia conflict was mended by Jahangir. So when Jahangir was the emperor, we have the son of Rana Pratap, Amar Singh, who was on the throne of Mewar, on the throne of Chittor, and he sent his son Karan Singh to the court of Jahangir, and a friendly treaty was signed. So Chittor was returned back to the Sisodias on the condition that they should not repair the fort wall of Chittor. So Chittor was returned back by the Mughals, and this ended the long-standing conflict between the Mughals and the Sisodias. So Jahangir, during the time of Jahangir, we have friendly relations ensuing between the Sisodias and the Mughals, right? So then I have put a small note on Ahilya Bai Holkar. So she was in the news in the current affairs some few months back. So Ahilya Bai Holkar, she became the ruler of Malwa. So she was the daughter of a village headman. And Khande Rao, she was about 8-10 years old. So, and she was doing some prayers in the temple. Her looking at her behavior, her devotion, etc. Khande Rao, the commander of Peshwa Baji Rao, liked her very much, and he decided to give his son in marriage to Ahilya Bai Holkar. Ahilya Bai Holkar. So later, when her husband died in a war, she became a widow. Her father-in-law told her not to commit sati. So Ahilya Bai did not commit sati because her father-in-law wanted her to take care of the kingdom after he dies, and that's what happened after the death of her husband and father-in-law. Ahilya Bai Holkar, with the strength of her army, petitioned the Peshwa to recognize her as the ruler of Malwa, and Ahilya Bai Holkar became the queen. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in his Discovery of India, praises her. He says that that kingdom for about 30, she ruled for about 30 years, and it was a kingdom with a lot of peace and prosperity under Ahilya Bai Holkar, and she was the one who repaired the Kashi Vishwanath temple, the Vishwanath temple at Kashi or Varanasi, which had been demolished by Aurangzeb. So she reconstructed the temple, the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So in that context, she was in the news. I have put a small note, go through it. Right. So let us look at the questions from the last chapter of medieval India, Vijayanagara and the Bahmani Sultanates. Which of the following monuments has a dome which is said to be one of the largest in the world? So, you know this. Answer is Gol Gumbaz, Bijapur. Tomb of Sher Shah, Sasaram, Jama Masjid, tomb of Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq. Answer is Gol Gumbaz, Bijapur. This was a 1995 question. Then one of the consistent features found in the history of southern India was the growth of small regional kingdoms rather than large empires. Because of what? 1999. The absence of minerals like iron, too many divisions in the social structure, the scarcity of manpower, no, the absence of vast areas of fertile land. So this is the main reason why we have absence of large empires in the south and only small kingdoms. Absence of large areas of fertile land. Third question, match the following 2000 question. This was Ikta, Jagir, Amaram, Mokasa. So this had got to do with revenue systems. Ikta was under the Delhi Sultans. Who started the Ikta system? Hello? Who began the Ikta system? Iltutmish. Very good. Stephen Sham. Right. Then Jagir, Mughals. Amaram, Vijayanagara. Yeah, all of you have answered. Harika, Rajneesh, Sahil. Thank you. So Amaram is the land given to the Nayakas by the Vijayanagar kings, like something like the Ikta. So the Nayakas came to be called Amara Nayakas. And Mokasa was the equivalent of Dikta given by the Marathas to their officers. Mokasa. So that's the answer. So B is the answer here. B is the answer. Next question, 2003 question. Assertion. Sarva Narasimha put an end to the old dynasty, that is the Sangama dynasty, and assumed the royal title. Is it right? First statement, is it right? Sarva Narasimha put an end to the old dynasty and assumed the royal title. Sarva Narasimha ended the Sangama dynasty. Yes. Reason, he wanted to save the kingdom from further degeneration and disintegration. This is wrong. He just wanted to be the king, so he killed Praudadevaraya of the Sangama dynasty, the last Sangama ruler, and snatched the throne. Sarva Narasimha was the governor of Udayagiri. Udayagiri near, he was the governor of Chandragiri near Tirupati. So the answer is A is true, R is false. C is the answer. Right? Then, consider the following statements. 2004 question. Narasimha Saluva, that is Saluva Narasimha, ended the Sangama dynasty and seized the throne for himself and started the Saluva dynasty. So this is correct. We have just now discussed. Veera Narasimha deposed the last Saluva ruler and seized the throne for himself, isn't it? Veera Narasimha killed Immadi Narasimha, Saluva Narasimha's second son, Narasimha the two, and usurped the throne. That is called second usurpation. We have done this. So this is correct. Veera Narasimha was succeeded by his younger brother Krishnadevaraya. That is right. Salavatimma, the minister, once Veera Narasimha died, put Krishnadevaraya on the throne, right? After imprisoning Achyutaraya and Rangaraya and also the minor son of Veera Narasimha. So this is also correct. Krishnadevaraya was succeeded by his half brother Achyutaraya. This is also correct. So the answer is, which of the following statements are correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you understand? I've explained this. First usurpation, second usurpation. Last class I've explained. And they have asked question from there. UPSC 2004 question. Clear? Can you raise your hands? All clear, right? So I hope you have revised your lessons. Great. Then, where is the famous Virupaksha temple located? So very simple question. Virupaksha temple, Bhadrachalam, Chidambaram, Sri Kalahasti. It is Hampi. Virupaksha temple at Hampi. We have a Virupaksha temple at another place. Can you name that? There's another Virupaksha temple at another place. Can you name that? Which is that place where we have another Virupaksha temple? Hello? Where is the other Virupaksha temple located apart from Hampi? Don't Google. Come on. Which is the other place? Pattadakal, Dhyana. Very good. Pattadakal near Aihole. So Aihole Badami and Pattadakal. Another place is Pattadakal of the Badami Chalukyas. And this is another place where we have a Virupaksha temple. Good, very good, Dhyana. Then let us go to the next question, 2015. Who of the following founded a new city on the south bank of a tributary to river Krishna? So tributary of Krishna is Tungabhadra and undertook to rule his new kingdom as the agent of a deity to whom all the land south of the river Krishna was supposed to belong. It was obviously Harihara the first. Among the two brothers, Harihara became the first king. So he was the one who founded the Vijayanagar kingdom on the banks of the Tungabhadra, a tributary of the Krishna. Okay, so the answer is Harihara the first. Then 2016 question regarding the taxation system of Krishnadevaraya, the ruler of Vijayanagar. Consider the following statements. The tax rate on land was fixed depending on the quality of the land. So that is right. So we have different types of land, different quality of land. So tax rate, land tax was fixed based on the quality of the land. That is right. Private owners of workshops paid an industries tax. So this is also correct. Professional taxes were there. So that is also right. So which of the statements are correct? Both are correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. C is the answer. Building Kalyana Mandapas was a notable feature in the temple construction in the kingdom of 2019 question. Chalukya, Chandela, Rashtrakuta, Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara is the answer. So they highlighted the Kalyana Mandapa. What's a Kalyana Mandapa? What's a Kalyana Mandapa? Marriage hall. Whose marriage hall? Whose marriage? Marriage hall. Whose marriage was performed in the Kalyana Mandapa? Deity. Very good. Marriage of gods. Right. Not public, it is only for the gods. On ceremonial occasions, Kalyana or marriage was performed. So this was the marriage hall. Then match the following by using the codes given below. They can ask you questions like this also. Which kingdom and dynasty? So Khandesh, which dynasty ruled Khandesh? Faruqi dynasty. Jaunpur, the Sharki dynasty. Bengal, the Ilyas Shahi dynasty. Kashmir, the Shamir dynasty. So they can ask you questions like that. Which dynasty and kingdom? Then who of the following wrote Rajatarangini Part 2? So Rajatarangini Part 1 was written by Kalhana. Part 2 was written under Zainul Abidin by two poets, two scholars, Srivara and Junaraja. So 2 and 3 is the answer. B is the answer. Srivara and Junaraja wrote Rajatarangini Part 2 under their king Zainul Abidin, who is called Akbar of Kashmir. Then match the following with regard to the translation of Mahabharata into various languages. So Perundevanar, so that is Tamil. He translated Mahabharata into Tamil, Perundevanar. Then Pampa is Kannada Mahabharata. Okay, Pampa. Then Saradasa, so Saradasa is Oriya. So he wrote the Mahabharata in Oriya language, and of course Kashiram, Bengali Mahabharata. So this is the answer, 12th. Then which of the following places correctly matched? So which traveler came during whose period? Niccolo Conti came during the time of Devaraya the first, not Devaraya the second. This is wrong. Abdur Razak Devaraya the second, not Devaraya the one. So this is also wrong. Domingo Paez came to the time of Krishna Devaraya, not Achyutaraya. This is wrong. Barbosa, Duarte Eduardo Barbosa came to the time of Krishna Devaraya. This is correct. So the answer is D. So remember the travelers during whose period they came. So which king during whose period a particular traveler visited Vijayanagara. So remember that. I put a chart. So go in a sequential order and try to remember. Then match the following. Adina Masjid, the biggest, supposedly the largest Islamic building in India at Pandua. So this is Adina Masjid at Pandua. Atala Devi Masjid at Jaunpur, the Atala Devi Mosque. The Atala Devi temple, which was converted into mosque, is at Jaunpur. Chota Sona Bara Sona Masjid, Bada Sona Masjid, is at Gaur in Bengal. And Jama Masjid at Mandu. So this is the answer. 14th question. Yeah, see, wherever I have given the bracket, that is the year, that is the UPSC question. These are from other state services or some other questions which I felt is relevant to the topic and important. Got it, Shreyas? Then, according to Portuguese, 2021 question. So this is a UPSC question, Shreyas. You can see I have put in the bracket 2021. According to Portuguese writer Nunes, the women in Vijayanagar Empire were experts in which of the following areas? Wrestling, right? Astrology, accounting, soothsaying. So all are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. In medieval India, the term fanam referred to what? Fanam referred to coins. Remember Vijayanagar coins? So you see, let's go here. You see, I'll show you the. Okay, so coins, that's the answer. In medieval India, the term fanam referred to coins. So you have Pon, Pagoda, Gadyana, they were all gold coins of Varaha, they were all gold coins, right? Then Parta was half a Varaha. Then Fanam was one of the coins. Fanam was also a coin. Tara was silver coin. Fanam was copper coin of the Vijayanagar kings, right? Then mains. Look at this question here. Krishnadevaraya, the king of Vijayanagar, was not only an accomplished scholar himself, but was also a great patron of learning and literature. Discuss. So this is more of a literature aspect of question, Indian literature question. And from there, they've asked this question. But this is relevant to Vijayanagar chapter also. So how was he an accomplished scholar? So first part, you give an introduction about Krishnadevaraya, okay, about Vijayanagara and Krishnadevaraya. Then you mention about his personal accomplishments as a scholar, right? So he was not only a great warrior, but also a scholar who wrote many books. For example, the Amukta Malyada in Telugu, a book on polity, then Jambavati Parinaya in 5 acts in Sanskrit language. Then you have the Ashtadigajas who were in his court. So you mentioned that, who were supposedly in his court, though history doesn't support that. And you mentioned the Ashtadigajas. His period is called classical phase of Telugu literature. He's called Abhinava Bhoja and Andhra Pitamaha, because the classical phase of Telugu literature begins from him. He's called Kannada Ramaramana because also he patronized Kannada literature. So all these things you mentioned, and he carried Peddana in a palanquin. One of the sides of the palanquin was held by the emperor himself. So this way he honored Peddana. He ordered the completion of the Karana Mahabharata of Kumara Vyasa. So Timmanna was the one who completed the Karana Mahabharata on the orders of Krishnadevaraya. So all these things you mentioned, and that would be 150 words, 10 marks. Okay. Then Vijayanagar Empire represents a distinct and influential period in Indian architectural history. So when we come to architecture, we will talk about it. The Vijayanagar architecture is called Provida style. So we have secular buildings, religious buildings, right? And many temples were built with the Vijayanagar kings. The Kalyana Mandapa was highlighted. That was another additional feature. So it is marked by hippogriphs, the mythical horse. All those things you have to mention as part of Provida style. The Vijayanagar style of architecture is called Provida style. This ends the medieval India topic. This ends the medieval India topic as such. So let us come to. So I put some information here. Go through it. Then we come to art and culture. So I hope it was interesting. Medieval India. No, it is vast. A lot of big topics are there. Like for example, Vijayanagara was a big topic. Another regional dynasties, that was a big topic. So I have taken some time, but I hope it was fruitful for all of you. Okay, Komal, yeah, I will take care of that, Komal. All of you, are you clear? No, whatever I have given it to you, Arjun. It is there in the PPTs, so go through that. You make your own points, supplement that PPTs with your textbook reading. Sham, which is tough, ancient or medieval? It depends. See, you focus on the easy topics first of all. Like, for example, in ancient India, Stone Age is easy, Indus civilization, mostly factual, Vedic period. Questions have come from these areas. Mauryan Empire, Gupta, post Gupta. Okay, so almost all topics are there. Then Delhi Sultanate, Cholas, Vijayanagara, Mughal Empire, Marathas. You can expect some questions from these areas, right? Early medieval India, they have asked questions also. So whatever is relevant from the exam point of view, I have tried to fill up my PPTs with as much of information as possible. You supplement the PPT with one textbook reading. When you read one textbook, and that should be sufficient. And revise whatever you have studied, and keep updating your current affairs. Right. You never know, Shreyas. More weightage. See, UPSC is giving weightage to even ancient and medieval, apart from art and culture and modern Indian history. Earlier, the most of the questions used to come from modern Indian history, and many of the students used to not read ancient and medieval. Input output, they used to measure that input output. Why should I spend so much of time and energy reading ancient and medieval when only one or two questions are coming? So let me totally focus on modern Indian history and art and culture, so that I can score maximum marks. But then please understand, UPSC, having come to know that, they will ask you, of course, little bit more questions on modern India, but then you cannot answer all the questions. From somewhere they will take out a question, one or two questions, which nobody can answer. So your overall score will go up if you answer questions from ancient, medieval, art and culture, and also modern India. Or your overall your overall marks will go up, and that applies to other segments also. So don't omit any part of the syllabus. Do a thorough preparation, and then as exam approaches, you will yourself come to know. In case there is a surprise question, you should still be able to answer. And 1 mark, 1 mark can be the difference between that side of the fence and this side of the fence. And you'll feel very bad if you have not qualified in the prelims by 1 mark, because you did not read a particular chapter, or you marked wrong. You thought it was ascending order, but they had asked descending order, right? And then you marked it, and then you got it wrong. Um, so therefore, read the questions properly and don't make any silly mistakes. Okay, let us come to Whatever is the query, Ashish, you just mail me, and I'll forward it to the concerned people, and I'll talk to them. Okay, so that's what I would say again. Whatever are your queries, mail me, and I will forward it to the concerned people. Akshata, I have told you the books. You read R. S. Sharma for Ancient India and Satish Chandra for Medieval India. Right? If you have started very late, then you can read only one book, that is Punam Dalal Dahiya for Ancient and Medieval India. That should supplement R. S. Sharma and Satish Chandra. If you've already done Satish Chandra and R. S. Sharma, you don't need to read Punam's book. You can maybe read selective reading. Selective chapters you can read if you feel like reading, that is. Right. Okay, let us come to art and culture. So all of you, let us begin with art and culture. So the best time to study, Yasin, it varies from student to student, which is the best time to study. Some people are early morning birds, some people are late night birds. So it all depends upon that. You make it all depends upon your habit. So how you have cultivated a particular habit. So accordingly, you study what is easy, which is the best time for you. At that time you utilize to read the tough subjects, like that. The point is to be consistent. So we'll come back here, art and culture. So I have shortlisted a few topics for art and culture, a very important segment of your UPSC preparation, art and culture for both prelims and mains. And a knowledge of art and culture will also help you to write good essays. In case there's an essay paper, an essay topic where you can draw your knowledge of history and culture, you can also enhance the value of that essay. So first of all, let us look at some of the important topics for study, detailed study. One is Indian architecture, sculpture, and pottery. So understand this, Indian architecture, sculpture, pottery. So what all do we study here? We study architecture, history of Indian architecture of 5,000 years. So first chapter, 5,000 years of Indian architecture. Right? So we begin our survey with the Harappan civilization, town planning of the Harappans. Harappan town planning. So this one I have covered it as part of ancient India, so I'll omit that. So Harappan town planning and other aspects of Harappan culture, religion, small scale industries, trade and commerce, seals, pottery, burial practices, then jewelry. So all these things, apart from town planning of the Harappans. Then we come to the Mauryan Empire. So you see in the Vedic period, we do not have any archaeological sources, nothing to study about archaeology there in Vedic period and pre-Maurya period also. So we directly come to Mauryan age, Mauryan period. So I'm just giving an overview of art and culture. Just be alert. So Mauryan period. So Mauryan, from the time of the Mauryas, we have the beginning of the usage of stone. So stone began to be used from the time of the Mauryas. And Mauryan art is divided into two categories. We have the court art, and popular art. Court art and popular art. So what is this Mauryan art? Divided into court art and popular art. Now, what is this court art? Court art is that art which could be afforded only by a king or a government. Only the king or the government can afford this kind of an art. So what are the examples of court art which we are going to study later? Palaces, Mauryan palaces. Then pillars of Ashoka. So what are the examples of palaces? Mauryas built palaces. Mostly they were made of wood, but they have not survived. They are found in the reference of many foreign writers, including Megasthenes, Fahian. They all mention about Mauryan palaces. They had seen those palaces. None of the Mauryan palaces survived because they were made of wood. Pillars of Ashoka. So what are the different stones used to make Ashokan pillars? What are the different parts of an Ashokan pillar? Right? What are the important pillars of Ashoka? What are the capitals shown on top of those pillars? Single lion, four lions, one horse, one bull, etc. Like that. So important pillars of Ashoka. They are called lots of Ashoka. Pillars are called lots of Ashoka. Then this is another example of court art. So we'll be discussing pillars. Then we'll be discussing about stupas. Stupas. So what's a stupa? what are the various parts of a stupa, the symbolic significance of a stupa. So important stupas built by the Mauryas and even later. So all those things, stupas. Then of course viharas. Viharas are monasteries found in caves. So basically, this is meant for the residential purposes of monks. As we have seen, Ashoka dug up 4 caves in the Barabara hills and donated them to the Ajivika monks. Similarly, his grandson Dasharatha dug up 3 caves in the Nagarjuna hills and donated them to the Ajivika monks. So these are all examples of court art, palaces, pillars or lots of Ashoka, stupas and viharas. Right? Are you there with me, all of you? So I'm discussing Indian architecture. I'm giving an overview, what all we are going to study. When we come to the topic, we will do that. Are you there with me? Then popular art. What is popular art? Popular art is that art which common people like you and me pursue. So let us say people will join together, they will make some donations and they'll collect the money and they'll install an idol or an image. For example, during Ganesh festival, people, the boys in your neighborhood will come and ask for donation, right? And you will give some money. So they'll collect money from everybody, whoever gives them, and then they will collect that money and go and buy a community idol of Ganesh, and they will install it in your area, in your road or in the neighboring road, and you're all invited there to pay your respects. So like that, you have guilds, merchant guilds, or people collecting money and installing an idol or an image. That's called popular art. So Mauryan art is divided into court art and popular art. We'll talk about it. Then we come to the third part of architecture, that is post Maurya. So I'm going in a sequential order: Harappan age and Harappan civilization, town planning, and other aspects of Harappan culture. Then Mauryan period, court art, popular art, and in court art we'll be discussing palaces, pillars, stupas, viharas. Then we come to post Maurya period. Post Maurya. So this is where your knowledge of conventional history will help you. Your knowledge of ancient India, medieval India. So because you know the sequence of events, the sequential order of the syllabus, we have done that. So then we are doing art and culture. That is why it has been organized like that, structured like that. Let us finish ancient and medieval and then come to art and culture. The student will be better able to grasp. So post Maurya period. So what happened in the post Maurya period? What do we study here with respect to art and architecture? 3 forms of art, three schools of art. We study about, of course, the Gandhara school of art, the Mathura school of art, and the Amaravati school of art. So Gandhara school of art was patronized by the Indo-Greeks, the Mathura school of art by the by the Sungas and the Kushanas, and the Amaravati school of art by the Shatavahanas. So Gandhara school, Mathura school, Amaravati school of art. And then of course we study also about Chaityas. Chaitya, what's a Chaitya? It is a Buddhist prayer hall found in a cave. So Vihara and Chaityas are found inside cave. Vihara is a place where the monks used to take rest. This was the retreat of the monks, where the monks would take rest. Whereas Chaitya is a Buddhist prayer hall found inside a cave. So we look at the important Chaityas. Okay, what are the important parts of a Chaitya? How does a Chaitya look like? Important Chaityas both in the Western Ghats as well as in the Eastern Ghats. So post Maurya period we study about Chaityas and also Gandhara, Mathura, Amaravati school of art. Then we come naturally to the next chapter, the Gupta period. Gupta period, fourth one, Guptas. Gupta period. And during the Gupta period, we have 3 forms of temple building. The evolution of freestanding structural temples. So freestanding structural temples built according to the Panchayatana style. Panchayatana style of temple building. A gradual evolution of temples. So early temples were found inside caves, right? They were called cave temples. But by the Gupta period, we have freestanding structural temples built according to the Panchayatana style. And the Shilpa Shastra books on Indian architecture, divide Indian temple building into 3 styles. Nagara, that is North Indian style, Nagara. So look here on your screen. I'll draw a map for you. Okay, so don't take my map seriously. So here you have Nagara style. North Indian style is called Nagara. You know this. Then South Indian style is called Dravida. And a combination of these two, Nagara and Dravida, is called Vesara or Central Indian style. Now look here. Now, what are the features of Nagara temples? I'm just giving you an overview. So therefore, the details we will come to it when we actually come to the topic. So in North India, temples are built according to the Nagara style. So so here you see, if I show you a temple in North India, how does a temple look like in North India? So this is the Garbhagriha. Garbhagriha is a sanctum sanctorum where the main deity is installed. Let's say this is a Shiva temple. So this is the Shiva Linga here. This is the door of the Garbhagriha, door, right? And in North India, the spire or the dual, that is, you have a tower on top of the Garbhagriha. That's called a spire or a dual in English. It curves to a point at the top. It curves to a point at the top like this. There's a fluted disc called Amalaka. So different parts of a temple will come to that. There's a fluted disc called Amalaka, and where on top of which there's a kalash kept. And in North India, this is called a shikhara. This is called a shikhara. In English, it is called a dual or a spire. Okay, so there are three forms of shikhara. There are three types of shikhara in North India. We'll talk about that. In North India, you have temples built by bricks. So the temples were built of bricks, right? You have three types of shikhara. You have a pillared approach, that is, where you have pillars supporting the roof or the ceiling. So as you're walking into the temple, so you enter the temple through a small entrance called mandapa. You have a mandap, right? So you enter the temple like that, and the temple has been built on a platform or a jagati. Jagati is a platform. So you enter the temple, you have a pillared approach, that is, you have pillars supporting the ceiling or the roof, right? Then you don't have a temple tank in a North Indian temple, what is called Kalyanis. So there's no temple tank. There's no boundary wall in a North Indian temple, right? There's no boundary wall or a compound wall. Then, of course, you have river goddesses Ganga, Yamuna depicted on the jambs of the Garbhagriha door. So these are the doors. This is the door of the Garbhagriha. On the jambs, on the door jambs, we have river goddesses Ganga and Yamuna with their mount depicted. So there are other features of a North Indian temple. So here, these are the standard features. Okay, Nagara style found in North India. The curve, the spire or the dual curves to a point at the top. It's made of bricks. You have no temple tank in a North Indian temple. You don't have a boundary wall. They're made of bricks. It is built on a platform. You have a pillared approach, etc., etc. Right? Now look here on your screen. You take this part of India, central part of India. Okay, here. Now, what is the state which comes here? Orissa, right? Orissa. Then what is the state which comes here? Madhya Pradesh. And what is the state here? It is Gujarat. Gujarat and Rajasthan. Okay, so in a straight line, if you take a straight line, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat, we see some additional features added to Nagara style in these three areas. These are called regional variations to Nagara style. Understand this? Regional variations to Nagara style. Standard Nagara features are there. Just now I told you some of the features, like temple has been built on a platform. It is made of bricks. You have a spire which curves to a point at the top, and that spire is called Shikara. There's no temple tank. There's no boundary wall, etc., etc. Apart from these standard features, in Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat and Rajasthan, we see some regional variations to Nagara style. So what are those additional features to Nagara style added in Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat? We will discuss that. Are you there with me? Did you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So it's very simple. It's very easy. So we will talk about it later when I come to that topic. Okay. Then we come to Dravida. So Dravida style. So let us understand, how does a Dravida temple look like. Dravida is South Indian style. It was started by the Pallavas. Pallavas laid the foundation of Dravida style. It was improved upon by the Cholas. So all the features of a Dravida temple are seen in Chola temples. So here, let's say this is the Garbhagriha. And one more thing, in North India, we have temple built according to the Panchayatana style. You can see here, you have subsidiary shrines. In the four corners, you have four shrines like this. These are called Panchayatana style of temples. Like, for example, this is the consort of Shiva, wife of Shiva. So, wife of Shiva has a small room for herself, her own office, okay, headquarters, small room, consort of Shiva. Then this could be a small cell for Ganesh, small room for him. This would be the Navagrahas, let us say the 9 planets. This could be a small room for Hanuman. This is called Panchayatana style of temples. Now, let us look at how a South Indian temple looks like. How does a South Indian temple looks like? I'm just giving an overview, I'm just giving an overview, Arjun. So just try to understand that. We'll come to the topic and you'll understand yourself. So here we have, no, in the South India, you see this is the Garbhagriha, Sanctum Sanctorum. That's this is Shiva temple. So there's a Shiva Linga there, and this is the door of the of the Garbhagriha, main door. Now the spire on top is pyramidical. It is in the form of a pyramid, okay, and there's a capstone on top. Now in South India, right, and in South India, this is called a Vimana. This is called a Vimana. Vimana. That is, it includes a spire. This is the spire of the dual. This is the spire or the dual. And the topmost portion of the spire is called Shikara. See, in North India, how it is. See there? The spire itself is called Shikara in North India. Whereas in South India, the topmost portion of the temple is called Shikara, and the spire along with the Garbhagriha is called Vimana. So in South India, in Dravida style, temples are built built by granite. They are built of granite. Okay. Then you have outside the Garbhagriha, on the door jambs, we have Dwarapalas. There's no river goddess Ganga and Yamuna with their mounts. In South India, Dravida style, we have Dwarapalas, guardians of the temple, Dwarapalas. Gatekeepers, Dwarapalas. So in South India, the temple is made of granite. There's a temple tank, Kalyani, what is called Kalyani or temple tank. Temple tank is there. This is meant for the people to clean themselves, wash themselves, take a bath, and then enter the holy precincts of the temple, right? Then there's a compound wall. There's a boundary wall around the South Indian temple. Compound wall is there, right? And there is one entrance gateway called Gopura. So you enter the temple through a Gopura. So there's an entrance gateway called a Gopura here. So there's a Gopuram. Okay. This is the Gopuram. Then you have an Antarala. What's an Antarala? Antarala is that corridor which connects the Mandapa to the Garbhagriha. So what's a Mandapa? So when you enter a temple, the first hall is called Mandap. And this is meant for the congregation of devotees. So you enter the temple, it's a pillared approach. You climb the steps and you enter. And then the first hall is called Mandap. Generally, it is made large. Why? So that large number of devotees can congregate. And then you make your way from the Mandap to the Garbhagriha. So use your visual imagination here. You have gone to so many temples here. Whoever have gone to temples. So you congregate in the Mandap and you walk towards the Garbhagriha. Right? So Mandap is the congregation hall. So here you have a corridor which connects the Mandap to the Garbhagriha. That is called Antarala. We'll come to that. I'll show you the pictures, etc. So you have an Antarala. Right? So these are some of the features of Dravida temples. You have a Kalyana Mandapa, etc., etc. So these are the standard features of a Dravida temple. Now we have other South Indian dynasties. So Pallavas were the ones who laid the foundation of Dravida style. Cholas added additional features to Dravida style. So almost all the features of Dravida style are found in Chola temples. But then we have other South Indian dynasties who came after the Cholas. For example, the Pandyas. We have the Pandyas. They had added some additional features to Dravida style. We have the Vijayanagara kings who highlighted the Kalyana Mandapa. they built a Vasanta Mantapa. Okay, you have to celebrate the Vasant festival. So there's a separate small mantap called Vasanta Mantapa. You have a Kalyana Mandapa where the god and the goddess were married on ceremonial occasions, right? Then we have the Nayakas who ruled over Madurai, Jinji, Vellur, Tanjavur, etc. The Nayakas added 1,000 pillared halls to a Dravida temple, 1,000 pillared halls. So if you go to Madurai Meenakshi temple in Madurai, we have 1,000 pillared halls. You get lost in the temple, and you have a series of Nayakas who added additional buildings to this temple. So it was not built by one king; it was built by many kings, including the Vijayanagara kings added some extra buildings to the Meenakshi temple. So 1,000 pillared halls were introduced by the Nayakas. So you have some South Indian dynasties who added these additional features to Dravida style. Are you there with me? So Dravida foundation was laid by the Pallavas, improved upon by the Cholas, and additional features added by other South Indian dynasties like the Pandyas, the Vijayanagara kings, the Nayakas, etc. That is what the Shilpa Shastra books say, Sham. Shilpa Shastra books on Indian architecture, give us all these things. It is just an overview, Shreyas. Just an overview. We'll come to that. And I'm trying to kindle your interest. It's very easy. Then we come to Vesara style. What is Vesara style? Mule. Vesara is a mule style. Mule. What is a mule? A mule is a cross between a horse and a donkey. Horse and a donkey, when you cross it, you get a mule. So this is a combination. Vesara is a combination of North Indian Nagara and South Indian Dravida. So it has mixture of both. So what are the dynasties? Who are the dynasties who followed Vesara style? We have the Chalukyas of Badami, the Badami Chalukyas. Badami Chalukyas. They were the ones who initiated the Vesara style. Then we come to their feudatories, the Rashtrakutas. So the Rashtrakutas also followed the Vesara style. Then the Kalyana Chalukyas also followed the Vesara style. And then the Hoysalas. And by the time the Hoysalas came to power, we see that Vesara style had evolved into the stellate plan, star-shaped. So the Hoysalas built star-shaped temples, as seen at Belur, Halebid, Somnathpur, etc. So star-shaped plan. So this is the Vesara style followed by these dynasties, the Badami Chalukyas, the Rashtrakutas, the Kalyana Chalukyas, Hoysalas. This is your Indian temple architecture, which we'll be talking about. Gupta period, Nagara, regional variations to Nagara, then Dravida, then additional features to Dravida added by other South Indian kings or dynasties, and then Vesara style, followed by the Badami Chalukyas, the Rashtrakutas, the Kalyana Chalukyas, and the Hoysalas. Right? Did you kind of get me? So we'll be talking about that. So I'm just giving an overview. We'll come to that. So you can see on your screen. So we have temples, mosques, stupas, pillars, caves, Gandhara, Mathura, Amaravati schools of art. During the Gupta period, Nagara, Dravida, Vesara styles, regional variations to Nagara and Dravida. Okay, and then we have Satyam, I'm saying mule. Mule is a mixture of horse and donkey. So that's called mule style. Vesara style is called mule style, where you have mixture of Nagara and Dravida. I'm not comparing temple with donkey, so don't get me wrong here. It is a mixture of North Indian and South Indian. Like you have a mixture of horse and a donkey, which gives rise to mule. So Vesara means mule style. So Surya, of course, in Kerala also you have Dravida style, but then you're taking the taking the weather into consideration. Wood also has been used. Sloping roofs have been given there because of the heavy rainfall of that area, but generally built according to the Dravida style. Then we come to the rule of the Turks in North India. You see, we have the Turks going on to rule North India. Understand this? So the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate was established in 1206 and it lasted till 1526. As you all know, we have 5 dynasties: the slave dynasty or the Ilbari Turks, the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, the Saids, and the Lodhis. Now, initially, what we notice is, why did the Turks come to India? Ghori came, and he sent two of his commanders, Aibak, Qutbuddin Aibak and Bakhtiar Khalji. They came to loot and plunder. They came to loot and plunder. And initially, when they conquered a few parts of India, North India, what we notice is large-scale destruction of Hindu and Jain temples. So Hindu and Jain temples were demolished or altered, and in place of them, mosques were constructed. So out of the rubble, after destroying Hindu and Jain temples, they collected the rubble and they put up a mosque. And we see this happening all over North India. Now, what is the reason for this? You see, they came to loot and plunder. And once they came to India, they realized that people were following a totally different religion. And there were no mosques in this country. And their religion, Islam, demanded that they pray 5 times in a day. And once in a week, that is on a Friday, they go to the mosque. And you don't have a mosque here. And they did not come along with engineers, architects, masons, right? They came to only loot and plunder. So what they did is they caught hold of Hindu masons. So they demolished temples, Hindu and Jain temples, and out of the trouble, they ordered the Hindu mason, the Hindu worker, to put up a mosque. Now, a mosque has arch. Okay, it has got arch and a dome, right? It has got an arch and a dome, and the Hindu mason did not know how to make an arch, or for that matter, a dome. And here, a sword is held at his neck, and he is ordered to build an arch and a dome to a mosque. So what the Hindu mason did is he made an arch something like this. So an arch will look like this, isn't it? An arch will look like this. Now, what the Hindu mason did is he has to make an arch, otherwise he'll be killed by the Sultan. So he made something like this. Understand this? And he showed this arch to the Sultan and said, "Sir, your arch is ready." This is called a corbelled arch. This is called a corbelled arch. Not a pure arch, but something like an arch called a corbelled arch. Similarly, when he was ordered to build a build a build a um, build a dome, the Hindu mason did not know how to build a Islamic dome, which is a bulbous dome. It is like a bulb, right? And you have a spike on top. So he knew how to make a stupa, a Buddhist stupa. So you look here on your screen. A Buddhist stupa looks like this. So he built a dome like this, and he put one spike on top, and told the Sultan, "Sir, your um, dome is ready." So what I'm trying to tell you is, initially we have mingling of Islamic and Hindu elements in architecture. So the Hindu mason put one lotus on top. So he put one lotus on top of the top of the dome, or instead of a spike, he put a lotus or a kalasha. So initially, we have mingling of Hindu and Islamic elements. Once the Turks established themselves here, they consolidated themselves, they conquered a large area, and they became part of this country. They gave up demolition of temples and mosques and Hindu and Jain temples, and they built independent structures. They built independent structures. So, as I told you, arch was not introduced by the Turks. Arch was already known to the Indians, but that design had been forgotten. So here in India, we have the popular method of construction, the slab and the beam method. You see, this is the slab and the beam method. So you put up two pillars like this, and then you have a beam supporting the roof. This is called a trabeate. This is called trabeate method. That is, you have two pillars supporting the roof. So Indians knew this method. So here, once the Turks came, we have the combination of arcuate and trabeate. Arcuate is using arch and dome. along with slab and beam method. So this is called slab and beam method. Slab and beam method mixed with arcuate, that is arcuate method. That is arch and dome combined with slab and beam method. So then, of course, you have the Hindu architect was afraid of experiments. He strictly followed the Vastu Shastra. So he was not ready for experiments, whereas the Muslim architect was ready for innovations. He was ready to experiment. And the Turks, when in West Asia, they used to use bricks. Once they came to India, they got influenced by Indian architectural features and construction materials. And the Turks began to use stone in their buildings, which was not the case in West Asia, right? So we have mixing of arch and dome with the slab and beam method. They introduced superior mortar, superior binding medium. They used jali, perforated windows were used. And Islam doesn't allow depicting human animals, on the walls of their monuments. You're not allowed to show that, depict humans, animals, etc. on the walls of their buildings. Therefore, they use geometrical designs. They used calligraphy, that is, some verses from the Holy Quran were taken, and the Holy Quran is written in Arabic language. So they picked up shlokas, meaningful words from the Holy Quran, and they were written in Arabic language on top of their buildings. So that itself acted as a beautiful design on their buildings. So they used calligraphy, that's called Islamic calligraphy, geometrical designs. Then they used arabesque. What's an arabesque? I'll tell you later. All these things were introduced by the Turks. So we have to study about the slave kings, important slave kings, Qutbuddin Aibak, who laid the foundation of the Qutub Minar, which was completed by Iltutmish. The Adhaidin Ka Jhompra at Ajmer was built by Qutbuddin Aibak. The Quwwatul Islam Mosque in Delhi, right? Then, of course, we have the Balban's tomb, which uses a Waside arch. So all those small details we'll talk about. Then Khaljis came next. Alauddin Khalji was the greatest of the Delhi Sultans. So he founded the city of Siri. Aibak founded Mehroli, right? So what are the Khalji design elements introduced in architecture? Then we have the Tughlaqs. Their buildings are very plain. They used gray stone, so it is very hard and therefore difficult to make designs. They used sloping walls called battar. So all those things we'll talk about. Then after the death of Alauddin Khalji, please understand, the central authority became weak. Delhi became weak. And many of the commanders under Alauddin Khalji declared themselves independent. And a number of sultanates were established in North India. For example, Gujarat became independent, Bengal, Jaunpur, Kashmir, and then, of course, in the south, we have the Bahmani kingdoms established. So, in all these kingdoms, which were ruled by Muslims, we have a number of buildings which came up in the provinces. This is called provincial style. We'll talk about it. Important buildings in the provinces. Then, of course, the Lodhis. The Lodhis built double domes, dome within a dome. You see, this is a dome. So they put up another dome within a dome. So these are called double domes. This is supposed to add strength to the dome. So they use double domes. They mostly built tombs, these Lodhis. They built their tombs on a terrace, on a platform, and surrounded that platform with gardens. So they look very beautiful and with a pleasing skyline. Then came the Mughals. From Babur to Aurangzeb. Babur busy fighting wars. 4 wars he fought in 4 years. But in that busy schedule of his, he built a few mosques. 4 mosques he built, and one mosque at Ayodhya was demolished later, and now a temple has been built there. So Babur. Then you have Jahangir. Sorry, we have Humayun. So he was thrown out of India, you know that, by Sher Shah. But then after he died, you have one of his wives, Akbar's mother, Hamida Banu Begum, building a tomb for her, to tomb for him, the Humayun's tomb. And Mughal architecture begins from Humayun's tomb. It is at Delhi. So it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So Humayun founded the city of Deenpana, the sixth city of Delhi. Humayun. Then Akbar was a great builder. He built the Agra fort. He built many forts, many palaces. Founded the city of Fatehpur Sikri. Then built the tallest gateway in the world, the Buland Darwaza. So all these things we study, right? And then of course he married many Rajput princesses. So they had a very positive influence on Akbar. So his buildings show a blend of Mughal and Gujarati Rajasthani elements. So Gujarati Rajasthani architectural styles are also blended along with Mughal styles in Akbar's buildings. Then we come to Jahangir, more interested in painting. Jahangir, not in buildings. The peak of Mughal painting is under Jahangir. And of course, once he died, we have his favorite queen Noor Jahan, who built a tomb for him, which is now in Lahore in Pakistan. Then Shah Jahan, great builder, he built the Taj Mahal, the Jama Masjid at Delhi, the Moti Masjid at Agra, the Pearl Mosque, and of course the Red Fort at Delhi. So he was a great builder, a man with great taste, and he spent a lot of money on his buildings. Aurangzeb, he felt it is useless to spend public money on these buildings. He built one small mosque within the Red Fort for his personal prayers, and of course the Badshahi Mosque at Lahore. Right. So these are the Mughal buildings which we'll be talking about, and some of the design elements which the Mughals introduced, like Pitradura, etc. And then we have the Europeans who came. Europeans, Portuguese, Dutch, English, Danes, and the French in that order. And the Europeans who came to trade initially built factories, trading stations. Then they built mosques. They built churches. So we talk about the Baroque churches, which we see in Goa. So Portuguese made Goa as their headquarters. So they introduced patio, outhouse. Patio can be on the ground floor, an outhouse, or on the terrace also. So they introduced patios, Baroque churches. So Portuguese introduced the same design what they were following in Portugal. Then we have the English, the Gothic style. They introduced the Gothic style, and when it merged with the Indian style, it is called Indo-Gothic or Victorian style. So, what are the various features of Victorian style of buildings? Right? We will talk about important buildings built by the British. The French founded cities like Puducherry or Pondicherry, Chandan in Bengal. They introduced modern methods of designing cities, Cartesian grid plans, and their architecture is called anonymous architecture, the French. Right? So we will talk about all these things. And in 1911, we have the capital of India shifted from Calcutta to Delhi. So Lutyens, Delhi. So you have North Block, South Block, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which was earlier the Viceregal Lodge, the headquarters, the official residence of the Viceroy. So you have new designs introduced by Edwin Lutyens and Edward Baker, the architects of New Delhi. So all these things we study, and some of the architects of modern India, including Charles Correa, B.V. Joshi, Bhatkhande, etc. So this is architecture for you. 5,000 years of Indian architecture. This is the bird's eye view. Did you get me? Hello? We'll be talking about all these things. Interesting topic. It's a huge topic in the art and culture section. This is the biggest topic, art and architecture. Did you understand? Hello, I just gave you a bird's eye view of art and architecture. We will talk about it details later. You see here on your screen, Indo-Islamic art and architecture, including that of provincial sultanates, modern architecture, including Sikh architecture, Maratha architecture, etc. Then we'll be talking about painting, Indian painting. See, I spent some time on this overview, I've done the same thing for ancient, for medieval. For art and culture, I'm doing it now. So once the student understands the overview, then they'll understand, okay, this is what we're going to study, what is coming up, you'll know already in your mind, and then you'll be mentally prepared. And when you want to do self-study, it becomes easy for you, because when you're reading, you know what's going to come next. Nothing is a surprise. And you get the connection also. I hope you agree with me. So we'll come back here. I would say, yes, in art is more two-dimensional, like painting is an art, whereas architecture is what you build. It is three-dimensional. Okay, so simple as all that. We'll come back here. Indian painting. Now, early man, how do I present this topic of painting to you? Very simple. Early man used to live in caves. Early man used to live in caves. And he did not know how to read and write, but he used to paint. And in some of the caves found in India, for example, in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh area, Chota Nagpur area, Allahabad, Chitroha, Amaroha, Bihar, Yasuthu Guha in Kerala, in some of the caves found in various parts of India, including Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, we have found some paintings on the walls of these caves. This is called prehistoric art. This is called prehistoric art. Now, what did the early man paint? What is the theme of his painting? Obviously, what he saw outside, in the nature, flora, fauna, plants, animals, birds, right, lizards, hunting scenes, dancing scene, women, community life, women cooking food, male and female genitalia. So, sex scenes. These are all shown. A woman giving birth to a baby. So all these are shown on the walls of these caves, and this is called prehistoric art. Okay. Now you need to know what is a mural, what is a fresco. So we study about all these things. What is a mural? What's a fresco? Mural is a painting done on a static surface. You cannot shake that surface. For example, there's a wall, and you do a painting on a wall. That is called mural. Painting done on a static surface. What's a fresco? Okay, I will talk about all those things later. So we have found such prehistoric art in various parts of India. We will talk about that, various caves, Jogimara, Sita Bengra, Lakshman Bengra, okay, etc. So these are some of the caves where we get the paintings. What are the type of paints used? Natural plant extracts. So some of the plants gave certain juices, right? And those juices had some colors. So he used those colors to paint, or minerals, like for example, hematite, from which he got red color. He derived red color from hematite. So limited colors are used. He used the brush. The painting brush was made of animal hair, and he would paint, right? Then we go to Harappan civilization. Harappan painting found on pots. We have done this, black on red ware. Harappan pottery is called black on red ware, and on those pots we get some paintings. So we study briefly about that, and then and then we suddenly jump to Gupta period, because we don't have any example of painting in the interim between the Harappans and the Guptas. We don't have any examples of painting, so we directly jump to the Gupta period. Gupta paintings. Now, when you talk about Gupta period paintings, Gupta period paintings, Gupta period paintings are found at Ajanta, Bagh, and Sittanavasal in the Pudukottai district of Tamil Nadu. So at Ajanta in the Maharashtra, Aurangabad district of Maharashtra, there are 29 caves. There are 29 caves at Ajanta. Some books say 30 caves. So let us take it as 29. There are 29 caves. These are all man-made caves, mind you. There are man-made caves. And out of these 29 caves, 4 are chaityas. What is a chaitya? A Buddhist prayer hall. And 25 are viharas. 25 are viharas. If it is 30 caves, then it is 5 chaityas and 25 viharas. Right, doesn't matter. We'll come back here. So 4 are chaityas, 25 are viharas. And on the walls and ceilings of some of these caves, we find beautiful paintings. And Ajanta is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, you should know what is the technique of painting used at Ajanta. What was the technique? These caves, mind you, are made by Buddhist monks. Buddhist monks are the ones who made these caves. They worked for 900 years. These caves belong to 2nd century BC to 7th century AD. That is a period of 900 years. And you have various dynasties, the Shatavahanas, starting from the Shatavahanas, Ikshvakus, Guptas, Vakatakas, etc., who patronized these caves. You have caves belonging to all these dynasties. So period of 900 years, and there are 4 chaityas and 25 viharas. And on some caves, on the walls and ceilings, we have beautiful paintings. So what is the technique used at Ajanta? What's a fresco? What's a fresco secco? Right? What are the colors used? What are the themes used at Ajanta, etc.? We'll talk about all those things. Ajanta paintings. Bagh is in Madhya Pradesh. We'll talk about Bagh paintings. Be very similar to Ajanta at Bagh. And then Sittanavasal. Basically, we have Jain paintings there. Jain paintings. So we talk about these paintings. So okay. So Ajanta, Bagh, Sittanavasal, and of course we come to Ellora paintings, Ellora again in Maharashtra. So what are the aspects of Ellora paintings? Then we come to, of course, um, early early medieval India paintings. Early medieval India, we have a transition from wall paintings to miniature paintings. Wall paintings to miniature paintings. So you should know what is the reason for this transition. Ajanta paintings were all done on walls. So from walls, you have paintings, small paintings which began to be made in the early medieval times. So what is the reason for that? What is miniature painting, right? And what are the reasons as to why there was a transition from wall paintings to miniature paintings? We'll study about that. Then in early medieval India, in medieval India, okay, yeah, this is a syllabus also, Shreyas. Yeah, right. In medieval India, we see painting done on three themes. Understand this. What are the paintings done? Paintings are done on three themes. Naika Bheda, understand this. Naika Bheda. Then Basa, and Ragamala. Paintings were done on three themes. Naika Bheda, Baramasa, Ragamala. Now, what is this Naika Bheda? Here we have the meeting of lovers. Understand this? Very interesting. Meeting of lovers, then their deception, cheating, and then parting of lovers. So a boy and a girl fall in love with each other, right? So it's a new emotion, a new feeling that is shown in the form of painting. So the boy and the girl are talking to each other, they're smiling, etc., etc. That is shown, Naika Bheda. Then something happens in the relationship. After 6 months, after 1 year, they have the feelings for each other have changed. The girl is angry with the boy. The boy is also not bothered about the girl, something like that. And the boy is going away on his horse, and the girl is looking other side. So that is shown. Okay, tension in the relationship. Then the parting of lovers. This could be shown in the form of Nayaka, Naika, Nayaka, Naika. So lover and beloved. So painting can be shown where there's a Nayaka, hero and heroine, or they could be shown in the form of Radha Krishna, love of Krishna and Radha. Okay, then Bara is 12, Mas is season. So 12 seasons, So various, so here, let us say there's a room. Imagine this is the room, and you have a couple of talking to each other. So there's a boy and a girl. Imagine this is the boy and this is the girl. Okay, this is the girl, right? And through the window, you see a painting. You see, you see a season. You see a weather. You see the weather where there's dark clouds. There are dark clouds. It is raining heavily, right? From this we come to know it is Varsha Ritu, rainy season. Similarly, Sharad Rutu, spring season. So through the window, you see beautiful scenery, green grass, fresh flowers blooming, etc. And then a couple are sitting and talking to each other. So this is Bara Masa. Various seasons are shown in the form of painting. Ragamala, musical modes, various musical modes are shown in the form of painting. Very unique to India, Ragamala painting. So three themes on which paintings were done. Then, of course, we have miniature paintings, which we'll be talking about. We have Pala miniatures, Pala period miniatures. Then Apabhramsha is Jain miniatures. Then Mughal paintings. There are also examples of miniature painting, Mughal period painting. South Indian paintings, like for example Pallava, Pandya, Chola period paintings. Then company school or Patna school of painting. All these are examples of miniature paintings. We'll talk about it. Then, of course, we have two forms of paintings in medieval India. Rajput paintings. Rajput paintings. Rajput paintings divided into Rajasthani painting and Pahari paintings. Pahari paintings. So in Rajasthan, we have various Rajput kingdoms: Mewar, Chavand, Bikaner, Udaipur, Jodhpur, Kota, Bundi, etc. In all these Rajput kingdoms, we have paintings being done, right? So that is, it was patronized by the kings of those kingdoms. The kings of those kingdoms. That is called Rajasthani painting. So Rajput painting is divided into Rajasthani and Pahadi. What is Pahadi? Hilly areas in the lower reaches of the Himalayas. We have small Rajput kingdoms. They are called Pahadi areas, hilly areas. Small kingdoms were there, and the paintings done in those kingdoms are called Pahadi areas. In the hilly regions, are called Pahadi areas like Kishangarh, um, Bundi, then Kangra. These are all some of the Rajput kingdoms existing in those hilly areas. So Rajput paintings divided to Rajasthani and Pahadi. And of course, we come to Mughal period paintings. Mughal paintings from Babur to Aurangzeb. Babur to Aurangzeb. And the peak of Mughal painting is under Jahangir. We have also European techniques of painting introduced from the time of Akbar onwards. So Jahangir, peak of Mughal painting, important painters under Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan. You need to know that. Then Aurangzeb, he dismissed all the painters. He was not interested in painting. He felt it is against Islam. So all the painters were dismissed by Aurangzeb. So some of the painters of the Mughal school who were trained in the Mughal school went to either Rajasthan or they went to the Pahadi areas, influencing the local schools there. Okay, so Aurangzeb dismissed all the painters. Some of them went to Rajasthan, some of them went to the Pahadi areas, right? And then we come to European period, modern paintings, European style of paintings. There was one British historian, a British painter called E.B. Havell. E.B. Havell. So E.B. Havell felt that India has a rich tradition of painting, rich history of painting, and Indian painters should not copy Western themes. In fact, they should revive the local themes, and they might adopt European techniques of painting, but they should only follow their own themes. And he inspired a group of painters like Abanindranath Tagore, Sharda Ukil, Jaimini Roy, etc., to who established the Bengal School of Painting, which later came to be known as the National School of Art. So this is the National School of Art and the Bengal School of Painting. And then we have, of course, folk paintings like Warli painting, Madhurabani painting. Okay, then Rangoli is another form of folk painting, Tanka painting, etc. This is painting topic. Okay, so entire aspect about painting. We'll talk about it, painting. Then we have other topics which I have shortlisted for you on your screen. Indian music. Indian music. Are you there with me, all of you? It is just an overview I'm giving you, what all we're going to study, right? Ragmala musical modes, various musical modes are shown in the form of painting. Bhakti is shown in the form of painting, like that. We'll come to that, Zeba, don't worry. Then we have music. So earlier, please understand, we had one form of music. We had only one type of music. But then with the coming of the Turks and the establishment of Islamic rule in North India and other parts of India, music got divided into Carnatic and Hindustani. So we study about the history of Indian music, raga, the anatomy of music, raga, tala, laya, then then emotions which music evokes, navarasas, emotions which music evokes. Some of the books written in ancient India about music, on music, right? In books written during the Delhi Sultanate on music, books written on music during the Mughal period, important musicians of medieval times, of ancient times, some of the musical instruments like avanad, then shatatantri veena, right? Then of course Ravana hatha, all those things we study, and of course difference between Hindustani and classical music, Hindustani and Carnatic music, then musical instruments like, for example, percussion instruments, stringed instruments, okay, then all those things we study, and folk music. So this is music topic. Music is not my cup of tea, but then we'll come to that. We'll discuss that in detail, Indian music. Then we study about dance. Indian dance is an important topic again, Indian dance. So we have classical dances of India, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali, Odissi, Satriya, like that. There are 8 classical dances. And who decides whether this is a classical dance or not? Sangeet Natak Academy. So what about Bharatanatyam? What is the origin of Bharatanatyam? Then what is unique to Bharatanatyam? Who are the people who revived Bharatanatyam? modern exponents of Bharatanatyam. Similarly, you know, um, Kuchipudi from Andhra, who was the person responsible, or who were the people responsible for reviving Kuchipudi? What are the important elements of Kuchipudi, modern exponents of Kuchipudi, who gave the rules of Kuchipudi, like that. So all these things we study. Classical music, no, classical dances of India. Then we have folk dances in various parts of India. We have various dances to mark the change of season, during marriages, during festivals. So we have various folk dances. So we study about that. Tribal dances like bamboo dance, gore dance, bison dance. So dances of India. Then martial dances like Kalaripayattu, okay, Gatka. So these are all examples of martial dances. So we'll talk about it. Indian dance. Then religion in India like Buddhism, Jainism, Bhagavatism, Shaivism, how Siddhartha became the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha, okay, the Buddhist councils which took place after his death. What is Hinayana, Mahayana? What is the difference? How did they come about? What is Vajrayana Buddhism? Reasons for the popularity of Buddhism, reasons for the decline of Buddhism, holy places connected with Buddhism. Okay, so all those things we study. Similarly, Jainism, how Vardhaman became Mahavir, his teachings, contribution of Jainism and Buddhism to art, architecture, literature, Jain councils, two meetings which took place after the death of Mahavir. How did this Digambar and Shwetambar happen? Division within the Jain Sangha happen, right? The reasons for the decline of Jainism, right? Then, of course, Bhagavatism, worship of Krishna. What was the reason for the revival of Bhagavatism? What does Bhagavatism entail? How Bhagavatism got absorbed by Vaishnavism? Okay, then Vaishnava Acharyas, Vaishnava saints like Alvars, and then Vaishnava Acharyas like Ramanuja, Nimbarka, Madhvacharya, etc. Shaivism, the oldest sect of India, native faith of India. Pashupati Mahadeva became Rudra, and Rudra became Shiva. Extreme Shaiva sects, okay, moderate Shaiva sects. Then we have the Nayanars, the Shiva saints of Tamil Nadu, the 63 Nayanars. Then Shaiva Acharyas like Basaveshwara, Srikanta Shivacharya, etc. So this is religion in India. Then philosophy, schools of philosophy. So we have various philosophers discussing aspects like whether there is soul or not, whether what happens to a person when he dies, okay, whether there is God or not, right? Is there a rebirth? Once a person dies, is there a rebirth? Right? See, these are all topics of discussed in philosophy, Indian philosophy. So we study about the Ajivika sect, the Charvaka, or the Lokayata sect, then the Shad Darshanas, Sankhya, Kapila, no Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, the six philosophers who gave their philosophies, right? So we study about all those things. This is philosophy's topic. Then Indian literature, ancient times to modern times, Indian literature. So in ancient India, what was the literature like? So basically, it was Sanskrit literature. And Sanskrit was the language of the Shishtas, elite sections of society. So, what are the various books written in Sanskrit on various subjects? Poems, dramas, didactic literature, shatakas, champus. Okay, so the various scientific literature by Aryabhatta, Varahamihira, Brahmagupta, books on medicine, books on astronomy, mathematics, etc. They were all written in Sanskrit language. Vedic literature in Sanskrit language. So we'll study about Vedic literature. What is Vedic literature? Divided to Shruti, Smriti, etc. Epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata. They were all written in Sanskrit language. Then we have the language of the masses, that is Prakrit. So that was the Desha Bhasha. And Prakrit is divided to Pali and Ardhamagadi, two dialects of Prakrit. Buddha spoke in Pali, Mahavira spoke in Ardhamagadi. These are dialects of Prakrit. So what are the books? What is about Buddhist literature? So it is written in Pali and Sanskrit. Buddhist literature, everything about Buddhist literature. Then Jaina literature, mostly written in Prakrit language. And then, of course, we have the Dravidian languages. The four Dravidian languages. Tamil is the oldest Dravidian language, followed by Kannada, then Telugu, and then Malayalam. So, development of Dravidian languages. This is your ancient Indian literature. Then we come to medieval India. Medieval India, we have mostly books written in Persian language on various subjects, not Arabic. Only few books were written in Arabic. The Holy Quran is in Arabic language. But in medieval India, it was the Delhi Sultans and the provincial sultanates, including the Mughals, who promoted Persian. So therefore, Persian language and literature flourished in in medieval India, not Arabic. And what are the various books written in Persian language by various scholars on various subjects? What is the reason as to why Persian literature and language flourished and not Arabic? We'll study about all those things. And of course, then we come to Bhakti and Sufi movements. What is Bhakti movement? Bhakti saints. Bhakti as a movement arose in South India, in the Tamil country, under the Pallavas. We have the Alvars and the Nayanars. Who were these Alvars? Who were these Nayanars? And how Bhakti movement from South India entered North India. And by the 14th and 15th century, it became a raging movement. The Bhakti saints of South India, first of all, Ramanujacharya and his philosophy of Vishishta Advaita, Shankaracharya, first of all, with Advaita. What is Advaita? Shankara's contribution. Then Vishishta Advaita of Ramanujacharya, Ramanuja's contributions. Madhvacharya and his philosophy of Dvaita. What is Dvaita philosophy? Okay, um, then of course we have um, Nimbaraka. So these are some of the Bhakti saints of South India. And then we go to North India, Ramananda and his disciples like Kabir, then Kabir, then Mirabai, Tulsidas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shankaradasa. Then of course uh, the Bhakti saints of Maharashtra like Gnanadev, Eknath, Tukaram, Ramdas. What is Maharashtra Dharma? Okay, all this we study. And of course, we come to the Sikh gurus, the 10 Sikh gurus from Guru Nanak to the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, and their contribution. What is Sikhism? What are the various teachings of the gurus? What are their contributions? Okay, so from Guru Nanak Dev to the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh. So we study all these things. Dadu Dayal of Rajasthan. So this is Bhakti movement and Sufism. What is Sufi movement? What are the various silsilas, Sufi silsilas or orders like Chistiya, Qadri, Naqshbandi, Firdausi, Shattari, important Sufi saints of all these orders. Okay, what is Kanka? Okay, what is Malfuzat? All those things we'll discuss as part of Bhakti Sufi movement. Then we will talk about Indian puppetry. You have Indian puppetry like rod puppet, glove puppet, shadow puppet, known by different names in different parts of India. So Indian puppetry is another topic which you have to study. Coins from ancient to modern times, ancient times, gold coins issued by the Indo-Greeks. Then we have the Kushanas, Guptas, medieval India coins, like for example, Delhi Sultanate, Mughal coins, etc. Then science and technology in down the ages, science and technology in ancient India, physics, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, metallurgy. These are all developments in science and technology in ancient India. What about science and technology in medieval India? So we study about that. Then cultural institutions in India, like Archaeological Survey of India, Lalit Kala Academy, Sahitya Academy, um, okay, then ICHR, ICSSR, etc. All those things. Then calendars in India, like Vikrama Samvat, Shaka Samvat, Hijri era, Gregorian calendar, UNESCO cultural and world heritage sites, then status of women down the ages, right? Then tribals of India, various tribals, various aspects of their life and culture, tribal dance, tribal festival, whatever is in the news, generally whatever is in the news, that becomes relevant. Everything is not important. Whatever is in the news is important, okay, regarding topics like tribals. Then education down the ages, what was the education in ancient times? What were the subjects taught? Important educational institutions like Nalanda, Vikramashila, okay, Nalanda, Vikramashila. Then, of course, Ghatikas, what are Ghatikas? Then education during medieval times under the Delhi Sultans, under the Mughals. Then, of course, modern education under the company, East India Company. Then, after the Parliament of England took over India, what are the changes in education? Those things are part of modern India. The travelers who came to India, like Fahian, Hyun Sang, It Singh, Al Masudi, Al Beruni, okay, travelers who came to Vijayanagara, Domingo Paz, Fernão Nunes, Ibn Battuta, etc. Travelers who came to the Mughal Empire, Tavernier, Bernier, Ralph Fitch, Manucci, Pelsert, etc. What are the observations made by these travelers about India during the period in which they came? Then society and economy during the Mauryan and Gupta period specifically. Then you study all these things as part of modern India. Rebellions, revolts like the Jat, Satnami revolt, the Jat revolt, peasant revolts in modern India. Okay, important peasant revolts, before 1857, after 1857, tribal revolts, lower caste movements, trade union movements, all those things. Then, of course, leaders with revolutionary impact, Rajaram Mohan Roy and his Brahma Samaj, the Arya Samaj of Dayananda Saraswati, contributions of Ishwachandra Vidyasagar, the Widow Remarriage Act, the Sati, abolition of Sati, Jyotiba Govindarao Phule. So some of the leaders with revolutionary impact. Say, so these are all the topics which you have to study. And of course, you have handicrafts. Handicrafts, you can add that. For example, let's say the Prime Minister is used to giving gifts, mementos to dignitaries if he goes abroad for a visit or to attend a conference, or some foreign dignitary is coming to India. Some gifts are given by the Prime Minister, and that becomes news. It is in the news. So try to know something about those handicrafts or gifts given by the Prime Minister, because it is in the news. The handicrafts. So all these things are important from the art and culture section. So our 8 topics I will highlight. Please understand, 8 topics are very important from the mains point of view, not only prelims but mains point of view. So what are topics I would suggest? Art and architecture is one. Art architecture is one. Secondly is painting, Indian painting. Third is dance. Fourth is music, Indian dance, Indian music. Fifth is religion, all the religions, and philosophy, religion and philosophy. Then literature, Indian literature topic. Number 7 is education down the ages, education topic. And number 8 is science and technology, S&T. These are the topics you study thoroughly from both prelims and mains point of view, particularly mains point of view. You can expect, and questions have come from this area. Surrounding this area, you have questions. Okay, education, science and tech, literature, religion, philosophy, music, dance, painting, art, and architecture. Did you get me? And Sufi Bhakti movement. Okay, Sufi Bhakti movement also you can add. So that is comes under religion and philosophy. It covers Bhakti Sufi movement. Okay. Shreyas, can I skip NCRT by referring to PPTs? I will not suggest that. I will not suggest. Don't skip anything. Poonam's book, Poonam Dalal Dayar's book covers also points from NCRT. But then read one textbook, standard textbook, R.S. Sharma, Satish Chandra, and that will supplement that with Nitin Singhania. Nitin Singhania's book is the Bible for art and culture, as you all know, and then supplement that with your newspaper reading. Indian Express newspaper. So you have something called UPSC Essentials there, UPSC Essentials. You go on the website of Indian Express, and you have something called UPSC Essentials. So the Indian Express team is supplementing your efforts. So there are quizzes. There's something called Explained in Indian Express. So you and under various sections, culture, politics, science and technology. So you have various slots there, and under that you have important topics covered from the UPSC point of view. So Explained. Opinion is there, opinion column is there in Indian Express. So this is a very nice newspaper for UPSC. Apart from the Hindu, you read Indian Express, and whatever is in the news becomes relevant. And you try to connect the dynamic aspects. Dynamic aspects is your current affairs with the traditional areas, which is there in your textbooks and whatever we are discussing in the class. Are you there with me? This is your art and culture. Zeba, I can't teach everything. I can't teach everything given the time. But then whatever material I can give you, I'll definitely give you. And then I've told you, refer to these books, Art and Culture from Nitin Singhania, and Fine Art book. There's a 11th standard NCRT book. That should suffice. Yeah, I will do it. Don't worry about it. Buy the latest edition of Nitin Singhania. So we'll take a small break. We'll take a 10-15 minutes break and come back. We'll start with Buddhism. We'll start with religious movements, Buddhism. Okay, is it fine? All of you, did you understand? A bird's eye view of art and culture. Did you understand what all we're going to study? All of you? Okay, so clear, easy, very good. We'll come back here and start with religious movements. Can we go straight to Nitin Singhania? It depends, Kennedy. There's no There's, UPSC is what you should be able to crack the exam. How you do it is up to you. Whether you read NCRT or not, whether you read some other books, you find a way. You find a way. Whatever is working for you, that is fine. Whatever a book you're able to understand, that is fine. There's no particular thing that you should go like this only. You should follow this method sequence. There's no particular sequence. But then it is presumed that you have the foundation strong. If you have your foundation strong, you have done your schooling, ICSE, CBSE syllabus, and you have been a smart student, a regular student, and your foundation is strong, then you can read the textbook directly. If your foundation is not strong, now why do institutes all over India say start reading NCRT books? Because most of the students are from state board, and state board books, whether if you, I hope you agree with me, they are not up to the standard of NCRT and CBSE, ICSE and CBSE syllabus. They're not up to the standard. So therefore, the fundamentals may not be very strong for that student coming from a state board. Now, how does that student make up for it? By just reading NCRT books for 3 months. So whatever he has lost in his school days, he can make it up by reading the NCRT books for about 3 months, and he is on par with the other students. So don't blame your parents if they have put you in a state board. It is not their mistake. Don't think it is a disadvantage also. Just take some time off and study your NCRTs thoroughly, provided you have done your state board. Then you will be on par with other students, and then you can read the textbooks. Are you there with me? That's the whole reason. If you've already done ICSE, CBSE, you revise those books, whatever you've studied in your school days, 8, 9, 10th books, you revise, and then you're back to reading your textbooks, reference books for UPSC. समझ में आ गया ना? Hello, all of you. Are you there with me? Yeah, that should be sufficient. And of course, current affairs. Update your current affairs, Indian Express, the UPS, the Byju's magazine on current affairs. So our team is also supplementing your efforts. So we are all working as a team, right? We are all working as a team. And I believe in one of the shlokas in the Rig Veda. Let noble thoughts come to me from all directions. Let noble thoughts come to me from all directions. Right. So be ready to accept information coming from various directions, various sources. That should be authentic, reliable. First of all, you make sure that is authentic and reliable, and then let it come to you. So if you get some information from your friend, from some other institute, some other magazine, you pick it up, whatever is relevant for the exam, because the ultimate aim is to crack this exam, right? So be open to information, suggestions, but then doesn't mean that you go on piling up information without reading them. You limit your sources to a few, one or two, and then be thorough with that, and then keep taking the tests, keep writing answers, keep taking the MCQ tests, and that should be your preparation. Okay, fine. So take a 15 minutes break. What is the time now? It's um, it is 7:52. So what time shall we meet? We'll meet at 8:05. We'll meet at 8:05. Is it fine? We'll meet at 8:05. 15 minutes break. 13 minutes break. 8:05. Okay. So carry on. Good morning. All of you are back. Can we begin? Hello. Great. So did you understand the overview? At least a general idea? Yeah, Zeba. See, the thing is, as far as you're able to answer the questions, it doesn't matter which book you're referring to or books you're referring to. As far as you're able to answer the UPSC questions, I have told you, okay, read these things. Now you want to follow a totally different method, and you feel that that is going to work for you, then great, go ahead and do it. The only thing is you should be able to answer the questions, both in the prelims and the mains. That should be the main criteria. Got it, Zeba? What you read, but read standard books. Read standard books, standard textbooks, standard sources. Don't refer to guides and all that. Okay, right. So we'll come back here. So let us talk about religious movements, Buddhism and Jainism. Generally, I begin my art and culture section with Buddhism and Jainism. Reason is a lot of questions are asked by the UPSC. Almost every year there are questions from this topic. That's why I'm doing this. So let us talk about religious movements, Buddhism, Jainism, Bhagavatism, Shaivism. So here we have the synopsis for this topic: importance of the 6th century BC, causes for the rise of heterodox sects. So what are heterodox? We'll come to that. Buddhism, everything about Buddhism, how Siddhartha became Buddha. So the life of Buddha, Gautama Buddha, his teachings, what is the Sangha, the monastic order established by the Buddha. Then Buddhist councils, meetings which took place after the death of the Buddha. 4 councils took place after Buddha's death. We will talk about it. Then differences between Hinayana, Mahayana, 2 major sects within Buddhism. Then Vajrayana Buddhism. What is Vajrayana Buddhism? Reasons for the spread of Buddhism, popularity of Buddhism, causes for the decline of Buddhism. Then Ashta Mahasthanas, 8 holy places connected with Buddhism. Ashta is 8, Mahasthana is holy places. And questions which have appeared from this particular topic. Now let us talk about this topic. The Buddhism, first of all, then we'll come to Jainism later. So what is the importance of the 6th century BC, 600 BC? What is the importance of 600 BC? So 600 BC is considered to be a revolution. Understand this? It is considered to be a revolution in the realm of thought and ideas, in the field of thought and ideas, in the realm of religion and philosophy, in the realm of religion and philosophy. For a number of religions and philosophers came into existence. A number of religions and philosophies came into existence. For example, we have Confucius founding Confucianism in China. So you don't need to know the details of Confucianism and the details of Confucius and his teachings, and Tao and his teachings, definitely not. So in China, we have 2 religions born. Confucianism founded by Confucius, and Taoism founded by Tao. So Confucianism and Taoism were born in China around the same time. Then Shintoism was born in Japan, Shintoism. Then we have Zoroaster, founding Zoroastrianism in Persia or Iran. So Persia is the old name of Iran. So in Persia or Iran, we have Zoroaster, founding Zoroastrianism. So Confucius and Tao founded Confucianism and Taoism in China. Shintoism was founded in Japan. Zoroastrianism in Persia. And we have around the same time the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, giving their philosophies. Around the same time, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle giving their philosophies. Now, what was happening in India around this time in the 6th century BC? There were 52 sects, or there were 62 sects. There were 62 sects in India. And out of these 62 sects, most of them were Gnostic. That is, Gnostic is what? They did not believe in the existence of God. There were 62 sects in India. Most of them were Gnostic. Gnostic means did not believe in God. Even Buddha was influenced by the prevailing ideas. Buddha was called agnostic. Buddha has been called agnostic. So Buddha has been called agnostic. What is the meaning of agnostic? That is, when Buddha was asked whether God exists or not, he ignored that question. He did not give a concrete statement as regards the presence or absence of God. And therefore, Buddha is called agnostic. So he was also influenced by the prevailing belief system. That is, most of the people believed, most of the philosophers believed, most of the sects believed that God did not exist. And Buddha was also probably influenced by that. Therefore, Buddha is called agnostic. Right now, so this is the importance of the 6th century BC. I'll come to that, Rajneesh, just hold on. Now, let us come to the causes for the rise of heterodox sects. So, Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika sect, Charvaka sect, they're all called heterodox sects. What is the meaning of heterodox? Heterodox means which oppose the existing belief systems, which opposed the existing beliefs. And what was the existing beliefs? The Vedic religion. The Vedic religion was the existing belief system in India at that point in time. And all these religions, Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika sect, Charvaka sect, they were opposed to Buddhism and Jainism. So let us talk about the causes for the rise of heterodox sects. So we go back to your knowledge of ancient Indian history, particularly Vedic religion, Vedic period. We have done the chapter Vedic period, so we'll come back here. The Vedic religion had become costly, complex, and unintelligible. We have seen this in the early Vedic period, Rig Vedic period. It was a simple and materialistic religion. They were nature worshippers, the Aryans. So they used to make offerings of yava, wheat and barley, to gods and pray in return for praja, pashu, dhana. Praja, mainly sons, pashu, cattle, and dhana, wealth. So it was a simple and materialistic religion in the early Vedic period. But in the later Vedic period, the Vedic religion had become costly, complex, and unintelligible. Why costly and complex? Because the emphasis was on elaborate rituals and sacrifices of animals. Emphasis was on elaborate rituals and sacrifices of animals. And the common man, like you and me, could not afford the Vedic religion. The Vedic religion, in other words, was not able to satisfy the spiritual yearnings of a common man. So the Vedic religion had become costly, complex, and unintelligible because all the instruction was in Sanskrit language. The instruction was in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit was not the language of the masses. Prakrit was. Prakrit was the language of the masses, not Sanskrit. Therefore, it was unintelligible, it was costly and complex. Did you understand? This is number one. The Vedic religion had become costly, complex, and unintelligible. Are you able to relate to whatever I just now told you? We have done Vedic period in detail. So it had become costly, complex, and unintelligible. This is number one. Can you raise your hands? Clear? Very easy. All of you? Yeah. Dialects of Prakrit. Udayanani Prakrit. The dialects of Prakrit are Pali and Ardhamagadi. Right? So Shuraseni, from Shuraseni, you have the Marathi written in Prakrit script is called, in Prakrit style is called Marathi. It became Marathi later. Similarly, Kannarasi, that is Kannada in the Prakrit form, is called Kannada. Earlier it was called Kannarasi. So like that, many of these modern languages have evolved from Prakrit. And they've also borrowed many Sanskrit words. Okay, now we'll come back here. Vedic religion had become costly, complex, unintelligible, number one. Number two, the Brahminical domination was challenged by the Kshatriyas. You can see here on your screen. This is the Vedic society. Brahmana at the top, Kshatriya or Rajanya second, third was the Vaishya, and the fourth were the Shudras. Now, since the Brahmanas were the ones who had the knowledge of the Vedas, Sanskrit, the Shastras, the Upanishads, etc., and he performed the sacrifices, Ashwamedha sacrifice, Rajasuya sacrifice, Vajapaya sacrifice, etc., the Brahmanas began to claim superiority over the Kshatriyas. The king was a Kshatriya. He was the one who gave the Brahmana money to perform those sacrifices. But because the Brahmanas were the ones who performed these sacrifices, the Brahmanas began to claim superiority over the Kshatriyas. And this was not liked by the Kshatriyas. There was a Kshatriya backlash against the Brahminical domination of the Brahminical domination. So there was the Brahminical domination was challenged by the Kshatriyas. Are you clear? Brahminical domination was challenged by Kshatriyas. They did not like it because the Brahmanas were claiming superiority over the Kshatriyas. And if you look at the Buddhist order of society, the Buddhist order of society is like this. The Vedic order of society was with the Brahmana at the top, followed by the Kshatriya or the Rajanya, then the Vaishya and the Shudra. How was the Buddhist order of society? On your screen. First came the Kshatriya. Followed by the Brahmana, then the Vaishya, and then the Shudra. So this is the Buddhist and Jain order of society. Buddhists and Jains claimed themselves superiority over the Brahmanas. Both Buddha and Mahavira were Kshatriya princes. So this is the Buddhist and Jain order of society. Kshatriya comes first, then the Brahmana, Vaishya, and the Shudra. So the Brahminical domination was challenged by the Kshatriyas. Number third is the Vaishyas wanted to improve their social position. Understand this. We have done the Vedic period. In the later Vedic period, only one Varna paid taxes. Which was that Varna? Only one Varna paid taxes. Which was that Varna? Vaishyas, Zeba, very right. So Vaishyas were the principal taxpayers. Nobody else paid taxes except the Vaishyas. But what was their position in the society? What was the position of the Vaishya in the society? Third. They were third in the society, but though they were the principal taxpayers. So there arose a desire amongst the Vaishyas to improve their social position. They began to feel, we are the only taxpayers to the king, to the government, but our position is third. We have to improve our social status. And it was the Vaishyas who were increasingly supported Buddhism and Jainism. So Vaishyas wanted to improve their social position. And to improve their social position, they patronized Buddhism and Jainism. They patronized Buddhism as well as Jainism. They gave donations to Buddhism and Jainism, the Vaishyas, in order to improve their social position. Then I didn't understand your query, Rajneesh. What is this corridor concept? Okay, we'll move on. Then the fourth reason for the rise of heterodox sects, new agricultural economy. Now, what was the main occupation in the later Vedic period? Understand this. I'm asking you questions. Please answer them. What was the main occupation in the later Vedic period? Agriculture. Very good, Zeba. Agriculture was the main occupation. And agriculture, Priyanka, everybody have answered, Stephen. So you're right. Agriculture was the main occupation, and agriculture was dependent upon the cattle wealth of the country. It was dependent on cattle, oxen, bulls, cows, etc. were required to plow the land, right? But then you have elaborate sacrifices of animals, elaborate rituals and sacrifices of animals performed in the later Vedic period, because the later Vedic religion gave emphasis to elaborate rituals and sacrifices of animals. You have a drastic depletion in the cattle wealth of the country. So the cattle wealth plummeted badly. And here comes Buddha and Mahavira, who spoke about ahimsa. Buddha and Mahavira spoke about ahimsa. And obviously, these teachings of Buddha and Mahavira, the preaching of non-violence, radiated with the masses. So the agricultural community they related themselves with this particular teachings of Buddha and Mahavira, because they were against the new agricultural economy was against the sacrifices of animals. This is number 4. So new agricultural economy was dependent on cattle wealth. And the Vedic religion recommended sacrifice of animals to appease the gods. There was a drastic depletion in the cattle wealth of the country. Buddha and Mahavira's teachings of ahimsa or non-violence radiated with the masses, and therefore they became popular. This is number 4. Okay. Then number 5, we have 6 philosophers who gave their philosophies as to how to attain moksha or salvation. What is moksha? What is moksha? Hello, what is moksha? Salvation. What is salvation? No rebirth. Very good, Harika. That's what I was looking for. Freedom from rebirth. Zeba also says the same. So, freedom from rebirth. And 6 philosophers gave their own philosophies as to how to attain moksha on your screen. So you can see the picture of an animal sacrifice going on, a Vedic sacrifice. Right now, we have 6 philosophers who gave their own philosophies to attain moksha or salvation. So each of them recommended their own path to attain salvation. For example, Kapila gave his philosophy of Sankhya. We will deal with philosophy later. What are the teachings of these philosophers? We will talk about it later in detail. So just know this much as of now. Sankhya, Kapila. The Sankhya philosophy given by Kapila. Yoga philosophy given by Patanjali. Nyaya by Akshapada Gautama. Vaisheshika philosophy given by Kannada. Purva Mimamsa by Jaimini. Uttara Mimamsa or Vedanta by Vyasadeva Badarayana. So each of these philosophers gave their own method to attain moksha, and people became confused. People became confused. For example, let's say I am new to town, I'm new to a city, and I want to travel from A to B. I want to travel from A to B. I asked 4 people the best direction to reach B. Let us presume we do not have GPS. Okay, we don't have GPS technology. So I asked 4 people to give me suggestions as to which is the best method and the fastest method to reach B. And 4 people give me 4 separate routes to reach B, from point A to reach point B. 4 separate routes. I get confused. I don't know which method, which route to follow. So similarly, all these philosophers gave their own method to reach or attain moksha, and people became confused. And then came Buddha and Mahavira, who gave a very simple method to attain moksha. Buddha called it as nirvana. Mahavira called it as kaivalya. We'll come to that in some time. So they gave a very simple method to attain moksha. Buddha called it as nirvana, and Mahavir called it as kaivalya. And these teachings of Buddha and Mahavira were given in the local languages, the vernacular language. Buddha spoke in Pali. So Buddha spoke in Pali, and Mahavira spoke in Ardhamagadi. Mahavira spoke in Ardhamagadi. And these are 2 dialects of Prakriti. Both these, Pali and Ardhamagadi, are dialects of Prakriti. This is simple teachings, vernacular language of Buddha and Mahavira attracted the masses. So these are all the various reasons for the rise of heterodox sects. Did you understand? Anjali says she's trying to log in from 6 o'clock. Yeah, of course, Anjali. I have started the class exactly at 6 o'clock. Others have the same problem. Sunny, wait, let me come to that. I'll answer your question later. The causes for the rise of heterodox sects, Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika sect, Charvaka sect, they're all heterodox sects. Others are facing any technical problems? Or is it only Anjali? Unintelligible is? Yeah, okay. So nobody is facing any problem, Anjali. Only you have faced problem. Maybe there's a problem from your end. Heterodox sect is those which oppose the existing belief systems. Shreyas, though heterodox means those which oppose the existing belief systems. They oppose the existing belief systems, heterodox. Heterodox means so they opposed the existing beliefs. That is the Vedic religion. They oppose the existing belief is what? Vedic religion. Right? Maybe, Shreyas, it may be the same. Heterodox, unorthodox, you can call it as that. So we'll come back here. Now, let us talk about Buddhism. What do you know about Buddhism? What do you know about Lord Buddha? All of you. So I'll be telling you the story of Lord Buddha, how Siddhartha became Buddha, and whatever story you hear from me, you should be able to answer all the questions asked in the UPSC. You should be able to answer most of the questions asked by the UPSC. Unintelligible is everything, all the instruction was in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit was not known to the people. It was unintelligible. They could not understand Sanskrit because they did not know Sanskrit. Whereas Buddha and Mahavira spoke in the vernacular languages, Pali and Ardhamagadi. Yasin, clear? Buddha was contemporary of Bimbisar, okay, Zeba, Sakya clan, correct, Stephen. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. So let us talk about Buddha. So here you can see Buddha sitting in the Dharma Chakra Pravartana Mudra. So he gave his first discourse, first pravachan, sitting in this particular posture. This is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana Mudra. Dharma Chakra Pravartana Mudra. Okay. Buddhism, Jainism, Anjali. I'll come to that, Satyam. I'll answer all your doubts. Just hold on. Let me first come there. Let me finish. Buddha has not yet been born, and you're asking me so many questions. Just hold on. When did he become avatar of Vishnu? What was the reason? I'll tell you all that. Just hold on. Let us first bring him alive in our class. So we'll come back here. Gautama Buddha, 563 to 483 BC. This is the most accepted date of the Buddha, 563 to 483 BC. He lived for 80 years. Buddha lived for 80 years. Now, understand this. We rely on hagiography and the allegorical stories connected with the life of the Buddha for the history of Buddhism, for the history of Lord Buddha. What is hagiography? Religious biography. Hagiography means religious biography. And what is allegory? Mystery stories. Mystery stories. Allegory means mystery stories. So we rely on Buddhist religious biography or hagiography and allegorical stories, mystery stories connected with the life of the Buddha. Now listen up. Whatever has been written about Lord Buddha was written 200 to 300 years after his death. 200 to 300 years after his death by the Sri Lankan Buddhist monks. So monks of Sri Lanka, Buddhist monks of Sri Lanka, wrote about Lord Buddha 200 to 300 years after his death. So because of this time lag between his death and what was written about him, because of this time lag or time gap, because of this time lag, lots of facts have got mixed up with fiction. Lots of facts have got mixed up with fiction. So when I narrate to you the story of the Buddha, don't use your rational brain. How can this be possible? Naturally, that question will occur in anybody's mind. How can this be scientifically, rationally be possible? But this is what the Buddhists believe. For thousands of years, they have believed this has to be true, and therefore we also have to believe this to be true as such. We have some fantastic stories in Ramayana, Mahabharata also, isn't it? Where Hanuman picked up the mountain and he flew because he was not able to identify the herb which was to be administered to Lakshmana, who was grievously wounded in the war. So he picked up the entire mountain and flew. Your rational brain will say, how can this be possible? But Hindus for thousands of years have believed this to be true, and we also have to believe this to be true with due respect to all these religions. And we have some fantastic stories in all the religions. So therefore, let us not use our rational brain. Let us just keep that aside and then believe this to be true. Are you there with me? So this is the caveat I've added to whatever I'm telling you now before I speak about the Buddha. Now, so we rely basically. So reason is, of course, nobody had thought about writing about the Buddha, and the Sri Lankan Buddhist monks were the first to document his life story. And this time gap had taken place 200 to 300 years after his death. Now, there are three main sources for the study of Buddhism. Understand this? Three main sources for the study of Buddhism. Number one, the Ceylonese Chronicles, the books of Sri Lanka. So, what are the Ceylonese Chronicles? Books of Sri Lanka. Number one, Dvipa Mahavamsha, written by Mahanama. Mahavamsha, written by Mahanama. Number one. Then number two, Dvipavamsha. So Mahavamsha means great chronicle. Dvipavamsha means island chronicle. Dvipa, island chronicle. Then Attakatha by Vattagamani. So Mahavamsha by Mahanama, Dvipavamsha, the island chronicle, and Attakatha by Vattagamani. So we rely mostly on Ceylonese chronicles for the study of Buddhism. They are considered to be more authentic and reliable. So these Ceylonese chronicles are considered to be more authentic and reliable. Therefore, we rely entirely on Ceylonese chronicles. We also have Chinese chronicles and Tibetan chronicles, but we rely entirely on Ceylonese chronicles. They are considered to be books of Sri Lanka. Ceylonese chronicles, Ceylon, books of Sri Lanka. Dvipavamsha was written by a group of monks. There's not one person. It was written by a group of monks. Therefore, there's not one author, Zeba. Okay. So Mahavamsha by Mahanama, Dvipavamsha, and Attakatha by Vattagamani. Now, let us talk about the story of the Buddha. So, you know this. Tell me, original name of Buddha. What was his original name? Siddhartha. Very good. Siddhartha. All of you know Siddhartha. Father. What was the father's name? Suddhodana. Suddhodana. He was the elected ruler of Kapilavastu. Elected ruler of Kapilavastu. Where is Kapilavastu? Nepal Tarai. It is in the Nepal Tarai. That is the lower reaches of the Nepal Himalayas. So he was the elected ruler of Kapilavastu. Mother. What was his mother's name? Maya Devi. Very good, funny. Mahamaya. Or also known as Maya Devi. Gotra. He belonged to the Gautama Gotra. Hence called Gautama Buddha. He belonged to the Gautama Gotra. Hence called Gautama Buddha. Clan. So Suddhodana was the elected ruler of Kapilavastu and he belonged to the Sakya clan. So since Buddha belonged to the Sakya clan, he is called Sakya Muni. For that reason. Sakya clan, and therefore called Sakya Muni. So you know this basic information. Now, the story goes like this. So let me tell you the story. Don't use your rational brains. So we'll come back here. The story goes like this. We are told that the couple, Suddhodana and Mahamaya, did not have children for a long time. They did not have any children for a long time. And one night, when they were sleeping, when Mahamaya was sleeping, she experienced a beautiful dream. And in that dream, a white elephant appeared. In her dream, a white elephant appeared. And this white elephant had 4 tusks. 4 tusks. This is 6 tusks. This is 4 tusks. A 4-tusked elephant. I did not get a picture with 4 tusks on the net. This is a 6 tusks, so don't You remove one, so we'll remove one. Okay, so this was an elephant with just 4 tusks. So a 4-tusked white elephant. It was white in color, this elephant. And this elephant was standing next to a lake called Anavatapta. Anavatapta. This was the name of a lake in the Himalayas. So it was standing next to that lake. And the elephant, in the dream of Mahamaya, comes and offers her a lotus flower. So the elephant offers a lotus flower, and Mahamaya received that lotus flower. It was a very real dream. Ashish, it was not Airavat. Airavat was busy with Indra. This is another elephant. Okay, if it was Airavat, I would have told you. And Airavat has seven trunks. This one is a 4-tusked elephant with only one trunk. So don't get confused. So here, right, Ashish. So here, this was a 4-tusked elephant, a white one, standing next to a lake called Anavatapta in the Himalayas. And it offers a lotus flower to Mahamaya. And Mahamaya received that lotus flower. The elephant disappeared. So the dream was over. And she thought till that time that it was real because it was so real. And she opened her eyes. When she opened her eyes, she realized that this was a dream. And she was excited. And she woke up her husband who was sleeping next to her. Sudodana, Utoji, get up. And he got up. Wife is waking him up. So he got up and she narrated the sequence of the dream. And he was also equally excited because with the enthusiasm which she narrated the dream, Sudodana was also excited. So next morning, at daybreak, they consulted the astrologers. The court astrologers. After all, he was a king, so you have a group of astrologers in the court, soothsayers. And Mahamaya narrated the dream to the astrologers. And the royal couple asked the astrologers to interpret the dream. What is the meaning of this dream? Please tell us. So the astrologers got into a huddle. They all discussed about this dream and they came to a conclusion. They said, this is the sign of an impending birth of a great soul. This is the sign of an impending birth of a great soul. That is, a son will be born to Mahamaya soon. And this son will either be a great king or a great teacher. This is the meaning of this dream, they said. So that is the time when Suddhodana then and there decided, if a son is born to me, then I will want him to become a king, not a teacher, not a philosopher or a teacher. Okay, so this is the interpretation given by the court astrologers. A son will be soon born to Mahamaya, who will either be a great king or a great teacher or a philosopher. And Suddhodana decided, even before the baby was born, he decided that he would want his son to become a great king and not a philosopher or a teacher. Okay, now look here. What is the meaning of the elephant coming and offering a lotus flower to Mahamaya? What is the meaning of this dream? This refers to the divine conception of the Buddha. Understand this. This refers to the divine conception of the Buddha. That is, Mahamaya became pregnant not through the biological process by which, living beings become pregnant on this earth. She became pregnant when the elephant offered a lotus flower to her. Did you understand? So this refers to the divine conception of the Buddha. She received the lotus flower, and that way she became pregnant. Now, don't use your rational mind. That's why I said, this is what the Buddhists believe. This refers to the divine conception of the Buddha. Clear? Can I move on? Right. All clear? Right. Now, Mahamaya has run through the full course of her pregnancy. 9 months are over, almost over. So she is pregnant and 9 months have passed by. Shreyas, I told you, don't use your rational mind. How is it possible? It is possible. In Buddhist hagiography, that's what has been written. And you have to believe it to be true. So this refers to the divine conception of the Buddha. This is what the Buddhists believe. So therefore, let us also believe the same. With due respect to Buddhism, I told you there are fantastic stories in all religions. Okay, so therefore let us respect that. We'll come back here. Now, so the time for delivery had come, and please understand, generally in India, in our tradition, the first baby is born in the parental house of the would-be mother. So the first baby is generally born in the parental house of the would-be mother. So here, Mahamaya, she was the queen of Kapilavastu, isn't it? She was the queen of Kapilavastu, and she had to travel to Devadaha. Devadaha was her parental house. That was her parental house. And she had to go to Devadaha for the delivery of her first child, which was according to tradition. First child should be born in the parental house of the would-be mother. So the queen, Mahamaya, began to travel to Devadaha from Kapilavastu, her husband's house to her parental house. And she was the queen. She was not traveling alone. She was traveling with an entourage consisting of servants, soldiers, etc. And they are holding the queen in the palanquin. So she's sitting in the palanquin. They're carrying the palanquin slowly, gently, and they are traveling slowly towards Devadaha. And she is a pregnant lady, 9-month pregnant lady. She cannot travel continuously. So they are taking frequent breaks so that she gets up and she walks around for some time. Again, she sits in the palanquin and then they proceed towards Devadaha. So they are traveling towards Devadaha, Queen Mahamaya and her royal entourage. On the way, they had to pass through a sal grove. So they had to pass through a sal grove, like a coconut grove, a grove full of sal trees. These are all the sal trees, sal trees. And there was a pool. There was a Pushkarni pool. So imagine this is the pool. This is the Pushkarni pool. And this was a grove full of sal trees, right? Shady area, a lot of shade, a cool breeze was blowing. And then there was this freshwater pool. And the royal party had to pass through this grove. And they decided, let us take rest in this nice place. Let the queen also take some rest. And then we'll proceed towards Devadaha after taking rest. So the palanquin was lowered. Mahamaya got down and she decided to take a fresh bath in that pool. So she decided to take a bath in that pool. So she got into that pool, the Pushkarni pool. She finished her bath. And just as she was getting out of the pool, the time for delivery had come. Understand this. She took a nice bath in that sal grove, in that pool, and then she got out of the pool. And just then, the time for delivery had come. You see, we are all as babies floating in the amniotic fluids of our mothers. We're floating in that fluid, and once that balloon bursts, the amniotic bubble bursts, that means the time for delivery had come. So she realized it, that the time for delivery had come. Now, one of the sal trees, noticed this, that Mahamaya was giving birth to a baby. And what the sal tree did is, I believe, it gently lowered its branch. So it slightly bent one of its branches, and holding the branch of the sal tree, Mahamaya gave birth to a baby. So don't ask me how did the sal tree bend its branch. You can see here on your screen, Mahamaya is holding a branch of the sal tree and she is giving birth to a baby. So you can see here, this is baby Siddhartha. Okay, so the baby is born, right? So you have Mahamaya holding a branch. So she's holding a branch of the sal tree, and look at the others. They are looking in wonder at the baby. So this lady here, you can see she's looking in wonder at the baby. So here, the baby was born. So in a standing position, so Mahamaya was standing holding the sal tree, and in a standing position, she gave birth to a baby. This baby, as soon as the baby was born, looked in the 8 cardinal directions. So 8 directions, the baby turned its head, 360 degrees. Don't ask me how. And then in a God-like voice, understand this, in a God-like voice, the baby is supposed to have declared, I am the leader of the world. I am the leader of the world. I am the guide of the world. This is my final birth. I'm the leader of the world. I'm the guide of the world. This is my final birth. Right? So this baby, who was later named Siddhartha, was born at Lumbini. So Buddha or Siddhartha was born at Lumbini. Okay, on a full moon day. So this is called Buddha Purnima. So certain events in the life of the Buddha happened on a full moon day. He was born on a full moon day. He attained nirvana, that is enlightenment, on a full moon day, and he died on a full moon day. Death happened on a full moon day. So this is called Buddha Purnima, birth, Buddha Purnima. So Buddha was born on a full moon day, Buddha Purnima. So he was born on a full moon day at Lumbini in 563 BC in the Sakya Kshatriya clan of Kapilavastu. And the baby was now named Siddhartha. So he was born in 563 BC at Lumbini. Okay, this is the birthplace of the Buddha at Lumbini in 563 BC. Right? So then the baby was named Siddhartha. What is the meaning of Siddhartha? He who attained success and prosperity. He who attained success and prosperity. Now look here. As soon as the baby was born, look here on your screen, he declared in a God-like voice, I am the leader of the world, I am the guide of the world, and this is my final birth. And what did the baby do? The baby, after declaring like this, I'm the leader of the world, I'm the guide of the world, this is my final birth, the baby took 7 steps towards the east. So the baby took 7 steps towards the east. Underneath each step the baby took appeared a lotus flower. So this is the lotus flower. Imagine this is the lotus flower. Underneath each step the baby took appeared a lotus flower. So, like for example, Rajinikanth walks, fire comes out, isn't it? So if he walks, fire comes out in movies, as you see. Like that, when the baby took 1 step, a lotus flower appeared. So the baby placed its feet on the lotus flower. Then another step, then another lotus flower appeared. So this suggests enlightenment. Lotus flower suggests enlightenment. And what is the direction in which the baby took 7 steps? What is the direction it took 7 steps? East. Why east? Why not any other direction? This is the future path in which Buddhism spread, I believe. This is the future path in which Buddhism spread later, east, towards the east. So therefore the baby took 7 steps towards the east. Underneath each step, the baby took appeared a lotus flower. So the baby was named Siddhartha, he who attained success and prosperity. Now, Anjali, don't use your rational brain. Okay, how can the baby walk? He was Buddha, he could walk. Okay, so then we're not like us. You're a special baby can walk. Right, now we'll come back here. Don't ask me, you don't use a rational mind. That's why I told you in the beginning. This is what the Buddhists believe. So we have to give due respect to that. Right? This is what the Buddhists believe. So we'll come back here. Now, right now, 5 days later, after Siddhartha was born, exactly 5 days later, there was one sage in the nearby mountains. So in the nearby mountains, there was a sage. His name was Ashita. So this is the mountain. Imagine this is the mountain. So he has got his small hut here. So this is the hut he's staying in. And Ashita, so this is the Ashita. His name was Ashita. He was a sage. And he was staying in his mountain retreat. He noticed in the night sky the divine constellation of the stars. So the stars had positioned themselves in the night sky in a particular alignment. And he, being a sage, understood that a special baby has taken birth in the kingdom. A special soul has been born in the kingdom. So 5 days after Siddhartha was born, Ashita came down from his mountain retreat to check upon the baby. So he came to the palace. The baby was sleeping in the cradle. Siddhartha was sleeping in the cradle. And then he peeped in. He peeped into the cradle. And then he noticed the 32 signs of a Mahapurush. You can see here on your screen. 32 signs of a Mahapurush, including 32 signs of a Mahapurush. What are the signs of a Mahapurusha? One of the signs is hair tightly curled towards one's right. Hair tightly curled towards one's right. So, so he noticed 32 signs of a Mahapurush, including hair tightly curled towards one's right, and then 80 minor signs. So 32 major signs and 80 minor signs on the body of the baby. And Ashita confirmed, this is not an ordinary baby, this is a special baby. He didn't say, Anjali, this is a special baby, so he could do anything. So this was confirmed by Ashita. Now, we are told that exactly 7 days, exactly a week after the birth of Siddhartha, Mahamaya died. Mahamaya died because of postpartum complications, post-delivery complications. Postpartum complications. Post-delivery complications. So Mahamaya died. So after some time, the father of Siddhartha, Suddhodana, married a second wife. He took a second wife for himself, and she was supposedly Mahapajapati Gautami, the younger sister of Mahamaya. Mahapajapati Gautami, the younger sister of Mahamaya. So she becomes the stepmother to Siddhartha. So Mahapajapati Gautami became the stepmother to Siddhartha. Okay. Why eastward movement, Dipankar? Because Buddhism spread towards the east. So he's supposed to have taken 7 steps towards the east. Okay, now we'll come back. Siddhartha also had a cousin. His name was Devadatta. Cousin was Devadatta. Initially, they were on friendly terms. Later, his cousin Devadatta became a deadly enemy of Siddhartha. So, cousin, a friend turned foe. You can put it in a bracket. A friend turned foe. Right, a friend turned foe. Devadatta, cousin of the Buddha. Now, please understand, as soon as I told you, even before Siddhartha was born, when the court astrologers interpreted the dream that a son will be born to Mahamaya who will be either a great king or a great teacher, Father Suddhodana had taken this decision that he would want his son to be a great teacher, a great king, not a teacher. So we are told that Siddhartha was brought up in a highly artificial environment. So he, within the presence of the palace, within the boundaries of the palace, he was brought up in a very highly artificial environment, a very luxurious life, and only young, youthful, and beautiful things were shown to him. Only young and beautiful things were shown to him from the beginning, from the time of his birth. For example, let us say there's a flower growing in the garden. Okay, so today the flower is bloomed. In a few days, 1 or 2 or 3 days, the flower starts showing signs of decay. Even before Siddhartha saw that flower decaying, that flower was plucked and removed from the scene. Similarly, let us say there's a tree growing in the garden. There's a tree which has bloomed in the garden. And this tree, after a few years, is showing signs of decay or disease. Even before Siddhartha saw this tree was cut off and removed from the scene. So only young, youthful, and beautiful things were shown to him. When he came of age, he was married to a girl. So you have a girl called Yashodhara who became his queen. Yashodhara. So at the age of 16 years, he was married to a girl of the same age. She was 16 years, Yashodhara. And then they had a daughter by name Priyanka. A daughter called Priyanka was born. And later a son called Rahula was born. Many Buddhist sources tell us that Yashodhara was only his second wife. Totally, Buddha had 4 wives and Yashodhara was only his second. Okay. So Ashish, just hold on. We'll come to that. Who are his teachers? We'll come to that. So here He was brought up in a highly artificial environment. Only young, youthful, and beautiful things were shown to him. When he came of age, he was married to a girl called Yashodhara, and from her he got two children. One was a daughter called Priyanka, and the other was a son who was later born called Rahula. He had a favorite charioteer, Sarathi, who rode his chariot. His name was Channa. Channa was his favorite charioteer, and he also had a favorite horse, Kantaka. Kantaka. So that was the favorite horse of Siddhartha. So son Rahula, charioteer Channa, and horse Kantaka. And he has grown up within the boundary of the palace. He has not gone out of the boundary at all till now. Now, the turning point in his life happened at the age of 29 years. Understand this? At the age of 29 years, for the first time, Prince Siddhartha, for the first time, decided to go for a spin in his chariot, for a round in his chariot. He wanted to go for a tour of the city of Kapilavastu. And so he sat on his chariot. He mounted his chariot. Channa was the charioteer. Kantaka was the horse. It was a chariot drawn by a single horse. And the prince, Siddhartha, for the first time in his life, at the age of 29 years, decided to go for a tour of the city of Kapilavastu. And on 4 days, he saw 4 successive scenes. This is supposed to be the turning point in the life of Siddhartha. So everybody of us have a turning point, either for good or bad. So you need to identify which is your turning point. So here, like for example, Mahatma Gandhi's turning point was when he was pushed out of that train at Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. Right, he had gone for a 1-year job, and then he was pushed out of that train because of his race, and that was a turning point in the life of Mahatma Gandhi. So like that, everybody have a turning point. This was the turning point of Siddhartha's life. So at the age of 29 years, he enters this city of Kapilavastu, and on 4 successive days, he saw 4 scenes. So number 1, on the first day, he saw an old man. On first day, he sees an old man with wrinkles on his body. So his body was crippled, his body was bent, as you can see here, and he had wrinkles all over his face. He was finding it difficult to walk. And Siddhartha had never seen anybody like this. As I told you, as we have seen, he was only shown young, youthful, and beautiful things. And he was shocked. So when he saw this man, he was shocked. He asked Channa, who is this person? Why is he looking like that? And Channa is supposed to have replied, sir, this is an old man. One day or the other, everybody have to become old, including you and me. Kya bol rahe ho? What are you talking? Nonsense. Take me back to the palace. He was disturbed. So Siddhartha was highly disturbed with what reply Channa gave him, and he ordered Channa to take him back to the palace. And all the while, he began to think about that man whom he had seen, an old man he had seen, right? So then the next day, he came out riding on his chariot drawn by Channa and drawn by Kantaka and ridden by Channa. And on the second day, he saw a sick man. So this is day 2. He saw a sick man suffering from some disease, and he was in pain and discomfort. And he asked Channa the same question: who is this person? Why is he looking like that? And Channa is supposed to have replied, he's a diseased man, sir. Everybody, one day or the other, have to get some disease. Again, it disturbed his mind. He asked Channa to take him back to the palace. So this disturbed him drastically. So he remembered, and he was thinking about this diseased man all the while. So old man, sick man. Third day, he again came out riding. And there, on the third day, he saw a dead body. So you have on the third day, he saw a dead body. People were taking this dead body in a procession. They were crying around the dead body, the relatives and friends of this dead man. And he asked Channa the same question: who is this man? Why is he sleeping like that? And why are people crying? So Channa replied, sir, he's not sleeping, he is dead. And everybody one day or the other have to die. So again, this answer of Channa disturbed him. So he began to think deeply. What is the purpose of life then? What is the purpose of life? We are born, we get some disease, we become old and we die. So what is the purpose of life? So this is the question which enveloped his mind. Purpose of life. What is the purpose of life then? We are born, we get disease, we become old and we die. So he began to think about the purpose of life. And on the fourth day, he again came out riding. And on the fourth day, he saw a sage, an ascetic, a sage or an ascetic. And there was a lot of peace and contentment on this sage or ascetic. And he asked Channa, who is this person? He seems to be so peaceful on his face. There's so much of peace and contentment. Who is this person? And Chennai is supposed to have replied that he is a sage, he is a sannyasi who has broken away all his worldly bonds. He's cut off all his attachments and he's a sannyasi. And that's why you see so much of peace and contentment on his face. So Siddhartha is supposed to have replied, I should be like him. I should become like him if I have to find the purpose of life. If I have to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? I should become a sannyasi. I should become a saint, a ascetic. So this is the decision taken by Siddhartha, that I should become a ascetic or a sage to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? So these are the four events, four scenes he saw, which is considered to be the turning point in the life of Siddhartha. An old man, he saw an old man, sick man, dead body, dead man, and an ascetic, in that order. Old man, sick man, dead man, and an ascetic. Now we are told that at the age of 29 years, one day, one night, he got up from his bed. And he decided to take up sannyas, renounce the world. He decided to renounce the world, that is, become a sannyasi. His family was sleeping in the adjoining room. In the adjoining room, they were sleeping, his family, his wife and children. And he wanted to wake them up and inform them that I'm going away to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? So he wanted to inform them. At the same time, he thought if he wakes them up, then it will disturb their sleep. So he decided, once I find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life, I'll come back and call upon them. So in the dead of the night, Siddhartha walks away from the palace. He mounts his chariot, drawn by Kantaka, the horse, and ridden by Channa. And this episode is called Mahabhinishkramana, the great departure. Mahabhinishkramana, the great departure. And you can see in this painting, I believe the gods had conspired against Siddhartha. They had conspired, they were helping him to slowly get away from the palace. So you can see in this painting, they are unseen. Gods are unseen, but in the painting they're shown as seen. And they're all encouraging Siddhartha to go away from the palace to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? And this is called Mahabhinishkramana, the great departure. So he sat in the chariot, drawn by the horse Kantaka and ridden by Channa, and they traveled in a southeast direction. From the palace, and they came to the edge of a forest. Where there was a river flowing by. So they came to the edge of the forest edge, and there was a river flowing by, River Anoma. So next to the forest, there was a river called River Anoma. Siddhartha ordered Channa to stop the chariot. So Channa stopped the chariot. Siddhartha got down from the chariot. You can see here on your screen, this is the River Anoma. And this is Channa here with the horse Kantaka. So Siddhartha got down from the chariot, and what did he do? He cut away his hair. Now, he had long locks of hair. He cut away that hair. He shaved his head and removed all his royal attire, royal dress, and wore the garb of a mendicant, wore the dress of an ascetic. yellow robes. He wore yellow robes, cut off his hair. And then he ordered Channa to take the chariot and the horse back to the palace and inform his father, Suddhodana, that his son had taken up sannyas. Now, the horse, Kantaka, we are told, was looking at all these things. Siddhartha removing all his royal dress, wearing yellow robes, cutting away his hair, shaving his head, etc. And the horse understood that Siddhartha is taking up sannyas. He's not going to come back because he's going away forever. He has taken up sannyas. And the horse felt very, very sad. And it was in deep pain and it got a heart attack and died. The horse Kantaka got a heart attack and died. But immediately it was born in a heaven full of horses. Kantaka was immediately born in a heaven full of horses. So Channa went back and informed Suddhodana that his son had taken up sannyas. Now, Siddhartha first came to the city of Vaishali. He came to Vaishali. And there he accepted a guru. A person has his guru. His name was Alara Kalama. Sage Alara Kalama. Alara Kalama. So he comes to Vaishali. His dad was, I told you, Udayarani, Suddhodana. Father was Suddhodana. So Vaishali, he comes to Vaishali and he accepts Alara Kalama as his guru at Vaishali. So this Alara Kalama, the guru, taught Siddhartha yoga, preliminary techniques of yoga, Sankhya Shastra, etc. So Siddhartha learned all those techniques. And then he asked a question. He stayed with Alara Kalama for some time. And then he asked his guru, Alara Kalama, a question. Sir, please tell me, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? Alara Kalama was not able to give him a convincing answer. So therefore he left him. He left him and went away. And then he comes to Rajagriha. Another city, Rajagriha. And there he accepted another person as his guru, Uddaka. Uddaka, also called Ramaputta. So this Ramaputta or Uddaka also taught him advanced techniques of yoga, etc. And Siddhartha learned all those techniques. And then he asked the same question to Uddaka or Ramaputta. Sir, please tell me, what is the purpose of life? And Uddaka also was not able to give a convincing answer. So he left him also and he began to wander away. So please understand, he began to wander for the next 6 years. So he accepted two people as his guru. One was Alara Kalama at Vaishali, and the other was Uddaka or Ramaputta at Rajagriha. So he left home at the age of 29 years. And for the next 6 years, that is till the age of 35 years, Siddhartha was wandering. And please understand, he was not wandering alone. He was accompanied by 5 people in his wanderings. So who are the 5 accomplices of Siddhartha? These are the 5 accomplices on your screen. Kondana, Vappa, Bhadia, Mahanama, and Asagi. Udayarani, don't use your rational brain. Sir, my question is, didn't he see his dad aging? His dad was timeless. That's the answer I can give you. So don't ask me rational questions. This is what the Buddhists believe. I told you. So he was timeless, probably his father. So we'll come back here, right? So these are the 5 accomplices of Siddhartha: Kondana, Vappa, Bhadia, Mahanama, Asagi. And what were these 5 people doing along with Siddhartha? They were also trying to find the question: what is the purpose of life? Okay, so generally, in fact, you see, don't be surprised. All of us go through this question: what is the purpose of life? This is after 10th standard or 12th standard. What is my purpose in life? Whether I want to do medicine or engineering, or study for UPSC, etc., or go abroad. So we all face this question, but we don't air it out. we have already decided, all of you have already decided what is the purpose of your life, to become a bureaucrat and take up this exam. So, no, don't ask me all those questions. Where did they come from? They came from, from some part of earth, Dhyana. So this is all not there. All those things are not there in the books. Where did they come from? What was their background? Who was their parents, etc. They found, he found them. They were all trying to find the answer. What's the purpose of life, right? Now I'll come back here. Now, along with these 5 accomplices, Siddhartha performed the severest of austerities. So all the 6 of them performed the severest of austerities. What is austerities? Punishing the body by denying it food, water, sleep, and meditating day and night. So they are meditating day and night and punishing the body by denying it food, water, sleep, so that their bodies became emaciated. Their bodies became very, very weak. Bones and skeletons were seen, of their bodies, all these 6 people. And the 32 signs of a Mahapurush, also had disappeared on the body of Siddhartha. It was no more seen because his skeletons and bones were seen. He had become very, very weak along with his 5 accomplices. And these 6 people, at the age of 35 years, these 6 people come to Gaya. Understand this. They come to Gaya. All these 6 people come to the present area called Gaya. Now it's called Bodh Gaya. So they come to Gaya in Bihar. And there was a sal grove. So there was a grove full of sal trees. This is the sal grove. A grove full of sal trees. A sal grove. They enter the sal grove. All the 6 of them. Siddhartha and his 5 accomplices. And that is the time, understand this, that is the time when a thought comes to the mind of Siddhartha. What is the thought he gets? If I continue to punish my body like this, by denying it food, water, sleep, then I will die. And if I die, then I'll not be able to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? Did you understand? A thought occurred in his mind. And what was the thought? If I continue to punish my body like this, by denying it food, water, sleep, then I will die. And if I die, I'll not be able to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? As soon as that thought came to his mind, from nowhere, a girl called Sujata appeared. A girl called Sujata. She was a farmer's daughter, Sujata. She appeared and offered a bowl of rice and milk to Siddhartha. So this is a bowl of rice and milk. And she offered that bowl of rice and milk to Siddhartha. Siddhartha accepted that bowl of rice and milk, divided that bowl of rice and milk into 49 parts, which he consumed for the next 49 days. Don't ask me rational questions. So he divided the bowl of rice and milk into 49 parts, which he consumed for the next 49 days. At the end, so little by little he had it, and at the end of 49 days, he had received his energy back. He had received his strength back. And the 32 signs of a Mahapurush were again also seen on his body. Now the question is, are you there with me? Yeah, only for Siddhartha. He did not, so she only gave it for Siddhartha. Diana, just hold on. Yeah, we are only taking into consideration Siddhartha. So Siddhartha, she offered that bowl of, that thought came to him. If I continue to punish my body like this, I will die. And if I die, I'll not be able to find the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? So she offered a bowl of rice and milk, Sujata. He accepted it. He never asked her, who are you? Why are you giving me this bowl of rice and milk, etc.? Ordinary people like you and me would have asked, but Siddhartha did not ask. So he picked it up. He divided into 49 parts, which he consumed for the next 49 days. And at the end of the 49th day, he had received his energy back. And the 32 signs of a Mahapurush were again seen on his body. Now the question is, who was this Sujata? Who was Sujata? Why did she give Siddhartha a bowl of rice and milk? Now understand this, very interesting this is. Sujata was a farmer's daughter. So she was a farmer's daughter, and she had been married some time back. She had been married some time back, and she did not have any babies. She did not have any children. I believe in that Sal Grove, there was a Yaksha. There used to be a Yaksha staying there. Yaksha is a tree spirit. Yaksha. So in that Sal Grove, there used to be a Yaksha. And she used to frequently come to that Sal Grove to pray to the Yaksha. So she used to pray to the Yaksha to bless her so that she can have a baby. Now she was pregnant. Sujata was pregnant and she was very, very happy because she's going to be a mother soon. So she had come with a bowl of rice and milk to that Sal Grove to offer her thanks to the Yaksha. And mistaking Siddhartha for the Yaksha, she offered that bowl of rice and milk to Siddhartha. So in other words, she mistook Siddhartha for the Yaksha. And thinking that Siddhartha is the Yaksha, she offered the bowl of rice and milk to Siddhartha. Did you understand? All of you? Understand the story. It's very simple. It is in Pali. Yasin, it is in Pali. Okay, not in Sanskrit. The Sri Lankan Buddhist monks wrote all these things in Pali language. Yaksha is a tree spirit. Not Aksha Baba, Jagani, it is Yaksha. Yaksha is a tree spirit. They guard the wealth under the ground. Yakshas. Sujata, I just now told you, Stephen, Sujata was a farmer's daughter who had recently been married, who had been married some time back, but she did not have any children. She wanted to become a mother. And she used to come to that Sal Grove to supplicate a tree spirit, to pray to the tree spirit, Yaksha. And now that she was pregnant, she had come to offer her thanks to the tree spirit. And she had brought a bowl of rice and milk to offer it to the Yaksha. Mistaking Siddhartha for the Yaksha, she offered that bowl of rice and milk to Siddhartha. Are you there with me, all of you? Akshata, are you clear? Now, Siddhartha had received his energy back after consuming rice and milk for 49 days. Now, those five accomplices, Kondana, Vappa, Bhadia, Mahanama, Asagi, they saw Siddhartha consuming rice and milk and they got disgusted with Siddhartha. They had given up food, water, sleep, and they were meditating day and night. And here, their accomplice, Siddhartha, has consumed rice and milk. And they thought Siddhartha has given up hope of finding the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? He's a useless fellow. Usko chhod do. So they left him and went away. So they felt that he had lost hope of finding the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? So they abandoned him and went away. Okay, so the five accomplices went away. So what did Siddhartha do next? Siddhartha, after having received his energy back, entered a river. There was a river flowing by. So this is the river, River Niranjana. River Niranjana. This is identified with the modern Falgu River. This is supposed to be the modern Falgu River in Bihar. So there was a river flowing by. So he took a bath in that river, right? And he got fresh. And on the banks of that river, there was a tree, a people tree. There was a people tree or a sacred fig tree. People tree or sacred fig tree. And he decided to sit for meditation under this tree with the firm resolution that until he finds the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life, he will not get up from the meditation. So you can see here, Siddhartha is sitting for meditation under the people tree or the sacred fig tree. So this is Siddhartha meditation. As you can see, he is sitting under the tree, the sacred fig tree or the people tree, and is meditating day and night. And Siddhartha, we are told, went into deeper and deeper levels of meditation. So he has gone within himself, deeper and deeper into a different state of mind he is. Okay, now this is a UPSC question asked. Look here. We have a god called Mara who wanted to disturb Siddhartha. Mara. Who is this Mara? Mara was the god connected with death and rebirth. Mara is the god of death and rebirth. And Mara wanted to disturb Siddhartha. So what did Mara do? He sent his two beautiful daughters to disturb Siddhartha. You can see here, this is Mara's daughters. So here, these are the, on your screen, you can see Mara's daughters. These are the Mara's daughters, beautiful daughters, two daughters. He ordered his daughters go and disturb Siddhartha. So these two daughters of his, they came and performed some dance, item numbers they performed, played music and danced. But Siddhartha remained unperturbed. He could not be disturbed, right? So they failed in their mission of disturbing Siddhartha, and both the daughters of Mara came back and told their father, Father, we tried our best to disturb him, but he did not open his eyes. So we are sorry for that. Then Mara sent his servants to disturb Siddhartha. So they came along with drums, bugles, bows and arrows. They shot bows and arrows at Siddhartha. They threw stones. They played the music with the bugle and the drums, etc. You can see here, they are all doing this, shooting arrows at him, playing the drum and the bugle, etc. But Siddhartha remained unperturbed. Then Mara himself came. Mara himself appeared. And then there was a dialogue, a mental dialogue between Mara and Siddhartha. So they were communicating at a different plane. And Mara is supposed to have asked Siddhartha, told Siddhartha that you don't have those qualities. Whatever you're trying to achieve, you don't have those credentials or or those qualities. Therefore, stop trying to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. What was Siddhartha trying to achieve? He was trying to get the answer to the question, what is the purpose of life? And here Mara is telling Siddhartha, you don't have any of those qualities, you are not pure. Therefore, you stop stop endeavoring in that direction. So Siddhartha is supposed to have replied to Mara, have all the qualities, all the credentials to achieve whatever I'm trying to achieve. I'm also very, very pure. And there's a time when he's supposed to have told Mara, at that mental level, mental plane, that I'm very pure and has a witness to my purity. I have the Mother Earth. So with his right hand, he is supposed to have touched the Mother Earth. Mother Earth, Prithvi, is a witness to my purity. I'm very pure, and Mother Earth is a witness to my purity. So with his right hand, you can see on your screen, with his right hand, he is supposed to have touched the earth. And that is a time when Siddhartha is supposed to have received his enlightenment. So he received the Bodhi knowledge. He received the Bodhi knowledge, also called Sambodhi, and he became the Buddha. That is one who had attained the Bodhi knowledge. In other words, he had received the answers to that question. What is the purpose of life? So Bodhi knowledge, Sambodhi, or Nirvana. It's also called Nirvana. Mara accepted defeat and disappeared. You can see here in a sculpture in Ajanta, in cave number 26 at Ajanta, we have a sculpture, the temptation and assault of Mara. So on your screen, this is Mara. The explanation is given here on top. You can see that, read that. This is Mara on his elephant. You see here, elephant is there and Mara is sitting here on the elephant. Mara is sitting and he's trying to disturb Siddhartha. Below are his beautiful daughters. Who have come to disturb Siddhartha. They fail in the mission. And you have servants, Mara servants also, who are there to trying to disturb Siddhartha. Ultimately, we have a dejected Mara here. To the left of your screen, below, you can see a dejected Mara, and he has accepted defeat. So this is the temptation and assault of Mara on Siddhartha. So he had become the Buddha. So Siddhartha had become the Buddha. And we are told that he sat in that position for 7 weeks. For 7 continuous weeks, he was sitting, enjoying that state of blissfulness. He was feeling very light, blissful, peaceful. And he was in a different different sort of an experience. He was feeling very, very light and blissful. And he sat in that position for 7 weeks. Now, in this 7 weeks period, we have a god called Brahma Sahampati. A god called Brahma Sahampati came to Siddhartha. He came to Buddha. So I'll use the word Buddha henceforth because now he has become Buddha. Siddhartha has become Buddha. So Brahma Sahampati came 3 times in this gap of 7 weeks. And he tried to awaken Siddhartha. Go, Siddhartha, get up, go and share this knowledge with the world. Whatever knowledge you have gained, you share it with the world. You get up, go. So first time he came, Siddhartha did not get up. Second time he came, again he did not get up. And third time, finally the third time, Brahma Sahampati came, and ultimately Siddhartha got up, Buddha got up from that particular place. He walked for the next 3 days up and down on that place, at that place. He paced up and down at that spot where he had returned, where he had attained nirvana, and then he went away. Okay, are you there with me, all of you? What was the answer? I'll tell you the answer. The teachings of the Buddha are the answers. Whatever the other teachings in Buddhas, of the Buddha, that those are the answers. Are you clear till here? Then, so Buddha got up from that place, and then he went away. He comes to Sarnath, Isipatana. So you can see here nirvana, the realization of ultimate knowledge by the Buddha. Nirvana. It's also called Sambodhi. It is also called Sambodhi. And he had become the Buddha. Right. Now, the spot where the Buddha had attained Nirvana is marked by a temple. This was built by the Pala king Devapala. Devapala, a Pala king, he is the greatest of the Palas. So Palas ruled eastern India between the 8th century and the 11th century, the Palas of Bengal, Palas. And Devapala built the Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. So this is the spot where exactly Lord Buddha is supposed to have attained his nirvana. Nirvana. This is considered to be the center of the Buddhist universe. Hyun Sang calls this as the center of the Buddhist world or the Buddhist universe. Okay. Now, Buddha, after having got up, came to Isipatana. Isipatana is Sarinath. He comes to Isipatana or Sarnath, also called Sarnath. And there was a deer park. There was a deer park. He enters the deer park. And then inside the deer park, he noticed his 5 former accomplices sitting and chatting away. Kondana, Vappa, Bhadia, Mahanama, Asagi. So he called out to them, "You fellows, you come here." So those 5 accomplices from a far distance saw Siddhartha, saw Buddha, and they noticed the drastic change in Buddha. So he called them, "You fellows, you come here." So they came walking towards Buddha, and then he told those 5 accomplices, "Henceforth, you address me as Tathagata. Henceforth, you call me, you address me as Tathagata." What is the meaning of Tathagata? Literally, it means one who has come and therefore who has to go. Tatha, one who has come, and Gatha, one who has to go. One who has come and therefore one who has to go. Literally, it means one who has walked the path of enlightenment. One who has walked the path of enlightenment. And to these 5 former accomplices of his, Buddha, and plus one person called Yashas. So there was one boy called Yashas. He was passing by. His name was Yashas. So to these 5 former accomplices and to this boy called Yashas, a layman. So he was a boy. He saw these 5 people sitting and listening to Buddha, and he got inquisitive. Who is this man talking to these 5 people? Let me also sit. And he sat. He came and sat next to these 5 people. So to these 6 people, Buddha gave his first pravachan, and that is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana. How the wheel of Dharma moves. Dharma Chakra Pravartana. How the wheel of Dharma moves. This is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana or Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Right? So there is still to tell you about Buddha's story. I will talk about it tomorrow. I have run out of time. So you have a great day. We will meet tomorrow and complete the story of Buddha and Buddhism, go to Jainism and other aspects. Are you there with me? Carry on. Whatever doubts you mail me, whatever queries, whatever complaints you have about technical issues, etc., you can mail me. So you carry on. You have a great day. We will meet tomorrow and complete this particular topic chapter. Okay, PPTs I will inform. Okay, you have a great day. Thank you. I'm logging out.